Stanford. Remember, you matter.
Sunrise on Jefferson is perfect for just about everyone. If you're a busy professional on your way to work, Sunrise is the ideal place to pick up a cup of coffee and a biscuit sandwich. Or maybe you just want to have a casual breakfast meeting away from the office, or you want to grab a classic lunch served fast and fresh. Whether you're going to dine in or carry out, there's really nothing in Memphis that compares to Sunrise. Whatever you're looking for, breakfast or lunch, chances are it can be found at Sunrise on Jefferson.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in. Tuesday after the holiday. Many of you were involved in so many things yesterday. It could have been at the lake, could have been in a park, could have been on a golf course. So many of you missed us. So we shall sort of relive the weekend a little bit, but man, we got a busy show. Gabe Kuhn's going to be with us. We'll talk Memphis Ole Miss. We'll get back into that. Brent Beard. What a brave soul he is. He has agreed to be on this show in the middle of a hurricane.
Riding it out in Jacksonville.
I think it is moving east.
It is.
It's, I know, downgraded from what was a Category 5 to a Category 2, but, Category 2 still have
very serious
80, 90-mile-an-hour winds.
And where the Tigers and many fans from here, where they just were in the Bahamas, boy, have the prayers go out for those people.
Oh, no kidding. That was very devastating there. Jeff Moore in the National Football League at 4:30, and then between Jeff Moore and Beau Marchant, we go back-to-back NFL. We'll make our NFL picks. I think I will surprise you with my Super Bowl winner, and I will let you know on the front end, Mr. Norsworthy, it is not the Bears. But I do have the Bears going a long way.
I have the Bears in the playoffs, but I don't have the Bears in the Super Bowl. My Super Bowl pick is really a blast from the past.
Really? To win it all?
Both teams and the team to win it.
I guess you could say that my sort of the past. I don't think many people are necessarily thinking they will win it, but I think they will.
Are we all doing this? Are we going to really all do this? Drew, are you going to do it too? Are we just going to forget about Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the Patriots? Are we going to do that?
I'm not forgetting.
Okay.
You'll find out. Just calm down. Just be ready. It's coming. We're putting it all out there.
Are you sports hatred? Do you hate the Patriots? I don't. I'm tired of them. I like Belichick.
Do you?
I thought I liked
Big
Game Bobby Kraft.
I like
until.
I don't. I mean, come on.
Each his own.
Yeah.
I don't.
Poor guy's not married, for goodness sake.
I don't love nor hate Tom Brady. I respect, admire.
I'll be honest with you. I like Brady more than I like Belichick.
I love Belichick.
Why?
My kind of guy.
He cheats.
He cutting edge.
And then Steve Earhart will be with us at 5:30. We'll talk the business of the Bulls, and I know he's got thoughts about the University of Memphis and Ole Miss. So we will get into that. It was a terrific game. The atmosphere was unbelievable. I mentioned this yesterday. I'll repeat it because so many of you were away on the holiday. But that was a legit 44. I think the University of Memphis could have easily said 50, and everybody would have accepted that. They chose to go the honest route, and that was nice. It was one heck of an atmosphere. I wonder what it'll be like this Saturday with Southern coming to town. And the line is out there, and it's 37.5, did you say?
The one I saw, yeah, Tigers 37.5-point favorite over the Southern Jaguars. But
where did you find that line? Because I was looking today. I couldn't find it anywhere.
I see that. I saw it at a odd site, at a Vegas odd site.
Vegas odd site? It wasn't
because I was
offshore?
I was looking for an Ole Miss Arkansas over and under. Any guesses on that? Our friend, the senator, former mayor of West Memphis, texted me this morning. He said, what's the over and under? 11.5 for Arkansas and Ole Miss, that both had offensive challenges in their opening games. What do you think it is?
I would take the over. Well, what do I think that is? Let me think. I'm going to say it's 41.
58.
Oh, my goodness. Take the under.
Don't challenge Vegas.
58.
Don't tug on Superman's cape.
I told you last week it would be the under. Was I right?
You were right.
This week, if that's the over
and they
under,
missed badly last week.
If that's the over under, I can't see there being more than 58 points.
We applaud and respect them so much, but they missed badly on the Memphis Ole Miss over and under.
Oh, they did 66
they
and a
weren't
half.
in the neighborhood.
No. They make mistakes every once in a while, especially early on, because you don't have enough data. Yeah,
especially in college, because they're still trying to figure some things out about the attendance last week. I'm with you. If they had said 52,909, I said okay. But isn't that kind of the problem with a lot of us through the years and experienced seasoned fans that go, that we have been lied to so much about crowds that we really don't know, that we don't really – you know what the AAF would have called that crowd?
My God, they would have said 100,000.
212,619.
Yeah, because
I saw them
they called 3,000, 22,000.
Opening night, Drew. Opening night. I promise you, every human being, even some just walking by that was on the property opening night, it could not have exceeded
2,000?
About that. 3?
I'll give him 3.5.
All right, let's say 4.
There's no way
funsies.
it would have been 3.5.
They called it 13.
There was no more than 3.
No, and again, opening night. I still don't know how it was not sleeting and snowing. It was 33 degrees. Well, there's one problem. It wasn't freezing yet. It was 33 degrees and misting. That should have at least been sleet, shouldn't it?
You think?
Boy, it was miserable.
That's why I don't understand the XFL's doing the same thing. Wait 2 weeks. What's your hurry?
I don't understand.
You think there's so much hunger for football right after the season begins that you've got to capitalize on that?
The TV rating did show that last year.
That's because it was totally brand new. I honestly believe you got to wait. If you wait, you'll at least give a 2 or 3 week rest, and then you'll have better weather wherever you go.
Yeah, I'm surprised at some of the markets they're going to. They're going to a lot of...
No, they're going every market is an NFL market except St. Louis. Well, you know what? Part of their theory could be, like in Dallas, where that's going to be a fun team to watch. You know, that's Stoops and Hal Mummy, and there's somebody else good that's on that coaching staff. There's what's the... And Eli's in the other room. He may know the answer to this. There's a waiting list for Cowboys season tickets. And I want to say it's like 15 or 20,000.
As far as the eye can see.
So if you can't get a ticket, makes sense. And it's cheaper, so you're opening up a whole new audience that can't afford the NFL, and they're hungry for it. So, okay, I get it. I really do get that. And in most of the cities that they're in, I don't know if that's the case in Tampa, but certainly is in Dallas.
But don't we run into this always with the newer leagues? You have that hunger for football. You have that Cowboys waiting list person, and then they go to that a week or two and they realize, that's not the Cowboys. That's not even close. I don't want to go to that anymore.
Well, that could very well be the case.
Speaking of TV ratings.
College football?
Memphis, we did it again. And we do it on everything. I love on just about anything, whether it's NBA All-Star game or when they kind of separate the language like this, the best TV rating for a non-NFL city, we always are at or near the top on that. For the Auburn-Oregon game, of course, Birmingham's number 1. Portland was 2 for
that makes sense.
Auburn-Oregon.
Right.
3 Tulsa. 4 Oklahoma City, 5 Nashville, 6 Jacksonville, 7 Memphis, just barely behind Jacksonville.
That's not absolute raw numbers. That's percentages, correct?
Rating was 8.0.
Right. So, but that's a percentage of the TV sets in use.
For Alabama Duke, Birmingham 1, Atlanta 2, Memphis 3,
Wow.
8.8. Barely behind Atlanta. Birmingham, so Memphis 8.8.
So obviously there's a lot of Alabama fans in Memphis.
No, there's a lot of sports fans in Memphis. There's a lot of college football fans. There's a lot of NFL fans and NBA fans and college basketball fans and baseball fans and NBA fans.
You have the Memphis Ole Miss numbers?
I don't. I can't find them anywhere, and I've begged my one ratings person at ESPN, and I think he was off yesterday and today. But Memphis 8.8 for Bama and Duke. What do you think Birmingham was? Memphis 8.8. Birmingham.
I'm going to say 16.
37.8.
Oh my gosh.
Had Birmingham, football capital of the TV watching South. New
That's
Orleans
impressive.
always up there.
That is impressive.
Columbus, Ohio, always up there.
What do you think the number, seriously, what will the New Orleans number be for LSU Texas this week? 50.
Bigger than a Saints number on Sunday.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Those numbers are pretty good for the NFL in their hometowns.
But we watch.
Anybody knows Texas, 67129.
We like sports in Memphis.
We would like to know what the number was for
and
Memphis.
we like that you like sports in Memphis.
And Ole Miss on Saturday, I have to believe, was a pretty good number. I'm trying to remember. That was up against Boise and Florida State because they moved the game, right? Or at least,
that's right.
I think they may have started an hour later.
Yeah, I think it slid to noon on ESPN News, didn't it?
Could have been. I was in the middle of the game,
but
so I don't know.
I wouldn't think it would have been a tune-out factor. No. Close game. If you're into it, you stay there with a close game.
So back to the Memphis Ole Miss game. What you liked about Memphis? For me, that's simple. Their defense. It was exceptional to hold an SEC team and whose strength is supposed to be running to -1 yard in the first half is
93 yards passing for the day.
Pretty phenomenal. And there's only how many? 72 yards running?
Less than 200 yards total.
Yeah.
And Matt Corral, I don't know how any quarterback could have looked great behind that offensive line, especially in the first half. The first half O-line play would make your eyes bleed.
So a question for you and for our listeners at 360-8255 on the First Bank phone line, or text us, First Bank text line 67129, or of course Sports 56, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We get a lot on Twitter and on Facebook and Periscope, by the way. The quarterback was more the quarterback. Is that on Matt Corral or on Brady White? Or was it on two new offensive lines?
And opening day.
An opening day.
I think that's a big factor, but Matt Corral didn't know. It looked to me like he didn't know whether to give or keep, run or pass. It was.
Well, he didn't have a lot of time to decide.
And not any time.
And for Memphis, there were 7 penalties from the offensive line? I know there were 7 offensive penalties.
A lot of false starts.
4 of them from the same guy, who I think is going to be a fine offensive lineman when it's all said and done. And by the way, the lead block on the huge 4th and 2 to Kenny Gainwell on the shovel pass that basically won the game.
After being hurt, went back in.
Yeah. But Memphis decided the best way to protect the quarterback was to move the pocket. And they had him rolling out, and this is something Mike Norvell is going to have to figure out and decide, but is he better served staying in the pocket with his speed as it is, or do you keep rolling him out where he did not appear to be as comfortable, I think, as you would like, throwing the football, particularly when he threw running to his left, which is against his body, not the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm not worried about his arm as much as I might be worried about foot speed.
And you're not worried about decision-making?
No, I know he knows the offense perfectly, and that is something he still tried to do. He tried to take what the defense would give, and I'm pretty sure he'll be very consistent in that all year long. That's not a concern to me. Your concerns about the O-line or Corral?
Everything, all the above. Check, 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 check.
Both teams, though, defensively, we know much improved.
What'd you see that knocked you over about Ole Miss offense Saturday? Anything?
No, nothing. I do think in the long run, Scotty Phillips is a heck of a back.
Got to have some room.
But you've got to have some space, and they never found the space for him.
Got a little rhythm, a little more, which was nothing from the first half, on going to a very basic play and running it again and again and again.
Which was basically running right up the middle.
Which that gets figured out by the other side.
Yep.
Now, they did adjust at halftime, and I think any trying with Jerry and Ely or Snoop Connor, they said, heck with that, just go with Scotty Phillips and run this play right here. And I think both those back knows where to run.
And I do think both those guys are going to be good in the long run for you.
I do too.
I don't think there's any question.
But it had a lot of opening day itis to it, didn't it?
Yeah. No, both sides. And both, remember, are totally revamped offensive lines, and that's probably the hardest position to get cohesive because you got five guys all having to be on the same page. Keith, we'll let you weigh in on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Good afternoon. You're on with Wolo and Stats.
Hey, Wolo and Stats. Thank you. All right. So what impressed me the most, well, and Ole Miss impressed me really big time on defense. They did. I mean, they did. But what impressed me the most was the ability of Memphis offensive line to open holes for those running backs against a really big defensive line, and plus the quickness of Memphis defense. That's what impressed me. I mean, Memphis was really quick on defense. I mean, really quick.
Keith, do you think this can be the dream fairy tale season for the Tigers?
I don't know. I don't know. They're going to have to. They're going to have to give Brady time to throw the ball, and he's going to have to. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, they covered the tight ends. I understand you want the tight ends involved in the game, but they covered them. I think he tried Dykes one time, and he tried Magnifico another time. I think.
We had Joey dropped the ball. Joey had a first down. It was either the first or second possession, and he just flat out dropped the ball, which never happens.
No, very rarely. Very rarely. He has really good hands. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not sure about the dream. I'm just not sure yet. I ain't sure because the offense, now the defense looked as good as it has since they beat Tennessee back in the 90s. I mean, it really did.
Defense was rugged. Offensive line play was pretty rugged. Patrick Taylor was rugged. I mean, it was a physical game.
There's two things that struck me, and you're asking about defense, team speed and depth. 9 defensive linemen played. That we haven't seen before. And the team speed, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And then I agree. Memphis actually matched an
Very
SEC
much.
Power 5
Nasty.
physicality.
Sure did.
And if that's the case, that's really good. To go, all the way through with that? And they're going to have to, because guess who made the top 25? We'll go into this a little bit later. But Boise is now in the top 25.
Boise's going to be there and be a problem. You know who Boise plays not this week but next?
I believe it's Power 5.
No. Our old buddies from Portland State.
No, really?
With Bobby Gross at quarterback. Lionel Hollins at tailback.
Portland State's playing them?
Portland State. Always on the front burner, aren't they? They got a good scout out of that, though, didn't they?
They did. No doubt.
This portion of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity early September into the fall sales event. Great offers on all 2019 models, special lease options always, and the 2020 starting to roll in. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look outstanding in one of those beautiful cars as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Oh, well, that's easy. Team USA a winner at the FIBA World Cup over Turkey, but this one was not really easy like it was supposed to. It went to overtime against Turkey, the number 17 ranked team in the tournament. 93-92. Jason Tatum got injured with an ankle sprain. No, I did not. I've seen some highlights.
Streaming just on ESPN, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I do know this. Turkey missed 4 free throws with 9 seconds left in regulation, would have won the game for them.
How about the international rule and the ball up on the cup? I mean, you can just goaltend anytime you want.
Oh, yeah, it's fair. But Chris Middleton hit 2 free throws with 2.1 seconds left, so he sort of is the hero. Kemba Walker had 5 of his 14 in overtime, and the USA win streak now in World Cup and Olympic play, not the exhibitions like they lost to Australia. Now they have won 44 games in a row. But I'll tell you, 17th ranked team, and apparently Greg Popovich has no faith in big lineups, and if they get later in the tournament against a big team, you may not see the USA win this thing.
Well, we don't freak out if they don't win the gold medal, do we?
Well, it's not the Olympic Games, but I would think you would.
The world's game.
People would be going, whoa, it's the first time Greg Popovich was the head coach. I still think they'll win.
My top story, 2-day break from football after last night's game. Pretty good game last night between U of L and Notre Dame.
They held their own.
Yeah, they did. And on Thursday, the 100th year of the NFL kicks off with all the natural concerns around football, and there are plenty. There are plenty of concerns around football. Injury, the safety issue across all levels of football, but lack of interest didn't win. It's still the king with plenty of issues, but a few years ago, people talking about the death of football and maybe devaluing of football, not a chance. It's not a serious topic.
And they got it right, too. They got the Bears and the Packers.
They do have it
longest running rivalry. I'll wait till Thursday to sing Bear Down Chicago Bears.
You can go all the way through. We get a music bed for you.
We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear Down Chicago Bears.
That was for Bulldog Turner, wasn't it?
I have no idea. Think I was there for that? It's 100 years ago.
Well, Dave, you've been there for all the great moments.
I've been there for a lot.
What was it like? What was it like standing at the base of the steps when Neil Armstrong came off the lunar module? You were there, weren't you, to welcome him to the moon?
I said, here's what you say. One small step for man.
You think they had that teed up?
I think he thought about that for a long time
so?
And was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Not top story of the day.
Now, this one's a sad story. It really is. And I mean that sincerely. Brandon Archer, a former CBHS football player currently at Middle Tennessee, was pronounced dead after drowning in the Buffalo River in Lobelville, Tennessee over the Labor Day weekend. He went swimming on a canoe trip. They all got out. His sandal apparently got caught on a log underneath in about 10 feet of water, and he was swept under and never came back up. Young man, former Christian Brothers, and again was playing for Rick Stockstill and Tommy West, our friend, at Middle, and he's gone way, way, way too early.
My not top story, we alluded to Boise State, and they now have really positioned himself to be the outsider crashing the party once again. Heavy favorites the rest of the way for Boise State. This week against Marshall, Tiger fans, you need to pull hard for Marshall. Next week, our old buddies from Portland State, October 19th at BYU. That might be the last hope to get them out of the way.
Well, Boise still got to play San Diego State. That's a good rivalry. They could fall, but they are poised at 24. I got news for you. Their bigger headache is UCF because they're higher. They're ranked at 18. But, the bottom line is, too, don't forget this. It's not what your ranking is. It's the highest-ranked champion. You got to be a champion. So you got to win your league. So there's still a lot of tests and twists and
Ugly
turns.
loss for Willie Taggart. We'll talk to Brent Beard about that. Willie Taggart was number one choice for Ross Bjork after the 2017 season. That's who he wanted.
For Ole Miss?
They had the relationship at Western Kentucky. Willie Taggart was sending signals that he wanted out in Oregon.
You think there's any real buyer's remorse right now in Knoxville about Mike Leach and Jeremy Pruitt?
For a long time I had said about Mike Leach, I like the idea of Mike Leach, just not in the SEC. It's time to change that.
I like Mike Leach in any league. I really do. You know what? It worked. The guy that really helped teach him was Hal Mumme. It worked at Kentucky with those two guys. Then why wouldn't it work now?
Washington State ran up a bunch of points this weekend with a new quarterback, and it was against FCS opponent.
We take a break. When we come back, we got a great lineup, as I've already told you. Gabe Kuhn's going to join us here in a second.
Gabe's ready.
His thoughts on Memphis and on Ole Miss. I'll let you know we are sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and we've got a new spa sale. Huge discounts on all the spas. Now's the time to buy. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to ship. $8,000 spas, now only $44.99. Four-person spas starting at $24.99. Swim spas from $89.99. These are the lowest prices all year. And there is special financing available. Please get to I-40 and Wooden Road, where now you're going to get family and fun, 70,000 square feet of inventory, and a big spa sale, all happening at Family Leisure. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
You love your pets, but you can't take them with you when you travel. So what do you do with Fido and Fluffy? Take them to Pet Suites. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville is now accepting reservations at their gorgeous new facility that accommodates dogs and cats of all ages. Complete with bone-shaped in-ground pools, indoor and outdoor play yards, expert care, and friendly staff. Book now and new customers get 25% off their first service. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, 4520 South Forest Hill, Irene Road. Pet Suites, your pet's new favorite place.
Looking good and feeling good? You've been to Rooster's Men's Grooming, the all-American classic barbershop. Whether boy or man, sportster or professional, when service matters, Rooster's is the choice for all gentlemen. Rooster's Men's Grooming offers a full-service shave, precision haircuts, and more, all with top-of-the-line products and a truly professional atmosphere. They even remember your name and offer you a beer. When looking good and feeling good matters, relax and unwind at Rooster's Men's Grooming, Paragon Place, 6300 Poplar.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Day after the holiday, day after the weekend that just passed joyously for the University of Memphis. Gabe Kuhn's about to join us here. I'm a little confused, Gabe, because I actually hit my thing and you're cringing in pain for the ear adjustment.
Oh, see, it was my fault. My fault.
I don't.
Clicked the wrong one. Got the wrong one.
Didn't quite understand that.
You didn't blow Dave out, though, did you?
No, he turned me
him
down.
I got you.
And I got to have it loud.
Gabe Kuhn in with us, Talking Tigers every Tuesday through football season, brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and Pop's Comfort Kitchen. We appreciate one and all. Thank you. We love talking to Gabe.
Gabe, what'd you think?
Ugly. I mean,
But
defensively,
effective. But effective.
It's a win. A win's a win. Is a win. Is a win. But defensively, wow. I mean, I talked to you guys about not knowing where to set my standards. Now I have very high standards. But offensively, I had my troubles. I didn't really like what I saw. I saw a quarterback who in year 2 didn't look quite what I wanted him to be at. I thought, from year 1 to year 2, he'd have a drastic improvement, and it just wasn't there. It just was not.
Well, it is week 1, and it is a revamped offensive line.
Solid defense you're playing.
So a fair question. We just asked, really, our listeners the same thing. Is that more? I mean, the quarterback did not have a lot of time. Is that on him, or is that on the offensive line?
I kind of disagree. I'm not saying he had a ample amount of time to work with, but at the same time, when you have a rushing game working how it was, you have guys taking, I don't know if you know this stat, but 49 rushes to 31 passes.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes tough, but I don't think the O-line was that bad. I really don't. He got sacked twice, I think.
No, I don't think it was twice. It was one time.
Once. So, I mean, there was a little bit of pressure in his face, but I really don't think the pressure was anything out of the ordinary. I thought it was, especially for a brand new O-line, I mean, against an SEC opponent, I thought they handled themselves pretty well for game 1.
Ole Miss was not coming from everywhere.
No, they're trying to keep everything in front.
Early on, they did realize they didn't think they could get to him because he does get rid of it quickly.
Yeah, but nothing downfield at all. At one point,
shot puts.
At one point,
at one point, he had a beautiful pass.
Yeah.
On the money, I thought, to Sean Dykes. Sean Dykes, unfortunately, is a little lame, and he's not 100%. And he pulled up on that one. That was well thrown.
Yeah, and the averages I found very interesting too. I mean, when you looked at early in the game, he was dealing. He was good on his completion percentage, no doubt. Obviously, some of the passes are very easy. But, I mean, he had about 11 completions for 40 yards, something very, very low.
23 for 179.
Yeah, and then
172.
What's 172?
Yeah. And then also taking him out of the game and going to the Wildcat. But a W, always. I'm again.
You said that.
very, very clear. Great win. Great to see the defense do that. I just think there's a lot of things to work on. Luckily, you have Southern coming in, and I think you can work on some of those things. And then South Alabama.
I go back to, if we're talking about concerns, and it was a win, and I think he's only going to get better, I'm really not concerned about Brady White's arm. I'm really not. What I would be concerned about is foot speed and getting out of trouble and getting better at throwing on the run. Because even if you listen to Mike Norvell's press conference yesterday, his luncheon, they definitely decided to go bootlegs.
Yeah.
They definitely decided to move the pocket. And so he's got to be able to throw on the run to do that. And I'm not sure that's his forte.
No, and I get why you want to get him out of the pocket in that first game because you have a rookie O-line. You don't want to put too much stress on them. And also, I found it very interesting. Rolling him out left. I can understand rolling out. He's a righty.
Right.
I know he can't throw on the run that well as is, but rolling out left and trying
against your body?
Yeah. That's got to be really hard for him.
That's a tough throw for
anybody.
The best.
Anybody. And I like what they did on the ground, though. I think they grinded it out. I just don't know if they have a big home run hitter like they did last year.
The two of what we were texting during the game, particularly about offensive line play, on the other side, the first half, it was burn your cornea out.
Oh, it was bad.
It was about as
It's one
clinic of bad offensive line play.
Oh, I mean, no push up front. No push up front. You saw, and to Memphis's credit, they came out and they were aggressive. They brought 5 and 6 man pressures. I mean,
a lot of movement,
about the whole
too.
game. Yeah.
Movement and speed, and it dominated Ole Miss.
Yeah, and there was too much, especially in the run game with Ole Miss, moving sideways. There was no vertical movement.
Backwards.
There was that too. But there was no vertical movement, and it showed. And then couldn't protect Matt Corral.
It affected his confidence.
Yeah, and you want to say Matt Corral didn't have a good game, but he really had no. I don't think anybody would have had a good game behind that O-line.
I rewatched it this morning for the first time since being there Saturday, and it was just as bad from that side. From the Memphis side, though, on the sideline in a locker room going forward, you have to love a coach that late in the game, midfield, we're going for it. Conferred with his D coordinator. I think they sized up. They can't drive the ball on us. Let's roll the dice. You got to love that, don't you?
Oh, and 4-minute offense will not be a problem for this team. Icing a game away will not be a problem. I think in the second half, they had a 5-minute drive and a 6-minute drive to end the game. I mean,
6:40.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous what they were able to do with Patrick Taylor because he falls forward
every
time.
I'll say this: we did see this one time with Fuente. And you remember Memphis put a game away at Cincinnati. They had the ball for almost the whole fourth quarter. And to Jarvis Greer, on the broadcast, to his credit, he said when Memphis was getting that ball back to start, he said, let's see a drive like Cincinnati and put this thing away. And lo and behold, this team did. And the thing that struck me the most about it was, let's go back to last year. And let's go back to UCF twice. Let's go to Wake Forest. Let's go to the Navy game. Big leads, blown, couldn't finish games. This is against an SEC team, and they finished. And that's got to give everybody, I don't care, offense, defense, special teams, that's got to give everybody confidence. We've started to figure it out.
And then you could bow up and do that against an SEC opponent. You're not getting pushed around by those guys, whereas in the past you would think that. Before the game you would possibly think that. It was awesome to see, especially with a young O-line. Especially with a young I wonder who's actually going to be able to play this week, though. There was a few injuries, it looked like.
Do you think – seriously, I don't know. And Mike made it clear there was not a serious season-ending injury
no. Yeah.
in this thing. It looked to me like Parham and Arona Lopez were just totally cramping and dehydrated.
Yeah.
So I don't know about Goodson.
Yeah.
But Brett, you said you looked at that thing today, and you don't think that was a chop block.
I did.
So
I thought it was just a lot of stuff
bodies
going on at the bottom of the pile.
But that makes me feel better because chop blocks mean usually injuries. And I'm not saying they were on purpose anyway. I'm just saying to you, if that wasn't a chop block, then, and he said there wasn't a season-ending injury they didn't think. So, but I don't know how many, because he would not say who'd be playing this Saturday.
Yeah, he said there. I mean, this Saturday, I gotta imagine there will be a couple guys probably not available, given that it's the game it is. I'm not saying that Southern's some pushover, but I am kind of saying that. But
37-point favorite.
Yeah,
the line would tell you that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to get back into the groove of things offensively. Because Ole Miss, I don't know if they expected what they got from them, but
I want to see more Pop Williams with the ball in his hands.
That and with Kenny Gainwell, I really like the amount of touches they gave him, 16 rushing the ball. But I think getting him in the open space is going to be vital to what they do down the stretch.
Well, I am glad you brought that up because I was sort of taking offense when you said there was no home run hitter, because I think there's your home run hitter. I think if you've got a guy who's going to carry the bulk, and believe me, they want to give, and he said this all along, 25 snaps a game to Patrick Taylor. He got 27 in this game, and they needed him. And he might have gotten more, but he got banged up. And then they brought in Kenny, who was running the Wildcat that Patrick usually is going to run. Okay, I'm fine with that. But Gainwell is a guy who will be your home run hitter. Remember, that's just his fifth college game.
Of course. But again, I would like to see him get more in open space, get some screens out to the edge, and see what he can do
He's
out there.
going to be Pollard. That's what he's going to be.
Yeah, but I think he'll get the ball more. I mean, I think he will. He's forced into a role, unlike Tony, where Tony had guys in front of him that could take a bulk of that carry and still hit home runs.
Well, here's the problem for Tony. You had Darrell Henderson and Patrick Taylor, and they were going to give you 3,000 yards. It's hard. I think it's amazing that Norvell was able to get enough snaps for
keep everybody happy.
You had Coxie with 1,000 yards, Pollard with 1,000 yards, Taylor with 1,000 yards, and Henderson with almost he would have had 2,000 yards if he played in the bowl game.
Yeah, and also I have to point this out because it doesn't get enough credit. Joey Magnifico, what he has done in his blocking development over his years,
inline blocker,
it's impressive. And early in his career, there was people. I heard people whispering NFL stuff, but at the same time, now I watch him and I see him able to block. I see him able to catch the ball, and he's still fast. And I really like his ability now. I mean, he has developed.
He's on pace to be the all-time leading tight end in the history of the program.
Yep.
And it's had good tight ends. Texter at 67129 at the First Bank text line. Text in and says, cool your jets with all the accolades from Memphis and what they did against an SEC team. It was a bad SEC team. I think Benito Jones, Josiah Coatney, and Ryder Anderson could play for a lot of teams. I'm not saying everybody. In an SEC West fronts, Bama's ahead, Auburn's ahead, LSU's ahead, A&M's ahead, State's ahead.
Yeah, I'm not
in SEC West.
And what I would say to this texter is, while I may somewhat agree with you, Ole Miss is probably a bottom half SEC team. Just looking at it,
maybe double digits.
Yeah,
11 down.
But again, I don't see you get a 5-point win in the first game of the year against the team. You don't know what they're going to come out and look like. They had new OC, new DC,
I think
new
Benito
quarterback.
Jones could play for a lot.
And
of
I think that defense that Mike McIntyre put together.
Say that again.
I think Benito Jones could play for a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
oh
I do too.
absolutely.
And Josiah Coatney, I really like.
Both those guys.
Second.
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, Memphis will not face a bigger defensive line.
No.
Now, I will
Houston
tell
had
you.
some girth.
I'm also going to tell you that Tulane, believe it or not, is considered the best defensive line in the AAC. They've got some athletic talent up there, but they're not. They're not as big as those guys. I don't worry about them as much because I think Memphis has payback in mind on that. That game is going to be taken very seriously.
Yeah, but I think Tulane has that thing circled too. I look at Tulane and I saw what they did against FIU, and FIU's a 9-4 team. I mean, mind you, they were last year. They were a good
Mr.
team.
Defensive line coach Butch Davis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and they reloaded.
The line in that game was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they beat them 42-14.
They handled it.
And what I saw with them is they are confusing offensively. They have this spread option attack, and then when they get tight red zone, they'll triple option, go Navy.
Oh, he is brilliant.
It's going to be, I think, down the stretch in the AAC, there's going to be some close games that the Tigers are going to have to pull out, and they're going to have to play good offense. They're going to have to be firing.
In that drive at Cincinnati, you were part of that offensive line.
I was tired.
You don't get in a huddle. You don't get in a huddle anymore. Do you have any conversation with your mates? All right, guys, this is hammer time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You don't get in a huddle.
As an O lineman, you want to be in the position to ice that game away. It's like, okay, we get the ball. Let's keep it. Let's go home. And I think what they did, especially with Mike Norvell with the cojones, man, on 4th and 2 with a shovel pass too at that.
Didn't come to make friends.
All right. Did you think he would do that?
Yeah. I mean, I know Mike, and I think he's always done that. He's been very aggressive, especially on 4th and 3rd down.
All right, I know we're talking Tigers here, but for this week, Arkansas at Ole Miss, I would say anytime Arkansas crossed the 50, they should be going for it on 4th down.
Why not? I don't see why not.
With that running game with Boyd and Wade?
Well, yeah. I mean, these two teams, whoever loses this game is in for a long season.
Long.
And it's going to be.
And I think both
ugly.
know it.
Yes,
I agree. Both know it. And I think the
You
line
have to have some self-awareness.
I think after
what is the line?
After watching the way Arkansas played,
Ole Miss 6.5.
I can't imagine. I really think our Ole Miss should be the favorite in that game. There's just no doubt in my mind about it. They will get better. The Rebels will.
Pretty good week for the AAC.
Very.
Real good week.
Very. In Mountain West, too. I don't know if you saw them. They went crazy. But, yeah, good week for the AAC, and I think there's going to be some struggles down the stretch for the Tigers, especially with Temple, Tulane, Cincinnati, all on the schedule. But, of course, this is Talking with Tigers, brought to you by ATC Fitness, Tactical Investments, Wolf Chase Nissan, Wolf Chase Honda, Stereo One, and, of course, Pop's Comfort Kitchen.
There we go. A lot of people sponsoring you, my man. That's a good
People
deal.
love Big Gabe Coon.
That is Big Gabe Coon.
We do.
And we appreciate it. I'll let you know this portion of the
I didn't
show.
bother you during the game Saturday texting you, did I?
Oh, no. I love them.
I wanted immediate offensive line input.
Yeah, I enjoy you texting.
Did I tell you my eyes were bleeding out?
Me too.
It was. I'm impressed mostly. Well, here's the one last thing with Gabe. He played 9 defensive linemen. He either played 8 or 9. He wasn't sure. Offensive linemen in that game. Part of that was because of the injuries. Yeah. But when's the last time you saw Memphis go 9 deep on the offensive line?
Never.
Bingo.
I think so.
Bingo. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. As we were talking about, we had Barrett Jones on, and I asked him. Now, he's Alabama, right? And this guy's won awards everywhere at every position he's played, which is every position on the line.
They went 5 across all year.
And they never made a substitution.
Well, I'll say early in the season with a young O-line and a new O-line, you're going to have to rotate in to see who the guys are. By game 3, by game 4, they better have it set in stone.
Yeah.
Because then that starts creating problems.
Because you need the cohesion of the guys playing together.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
This portion of the show brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland, custom home builders, a big decision you're going to make. You're either building that dream home or you're renovating your old home to make it a modern palace. He's your guy. He's got renovation with innovation if that's the direction you're taking. If you're building, and let's say you're looking for land, he's got it. Or maybe you've got land. You've had it for a while. You've been waiting for the moment. Now is the time, but you're not sure what exactly you want to do. He knows. I promise you. Just give him a call, 751-1632. Better yet, go to his website, kengarland.com. Do that first. See what he has done for the last 40 years around the entire Metroplex. Then you'll get excited. Then you'll want to know more. Then call him. He is one of those rare guys. He says little details, big picture, all at once. Perfect for a complete design and build firm. Don't take my word for it. Call him, 751-1632. He'll tell you yes or no. If it's yes, he's always on the money. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Troy, you hold on. We'll get right to you to put a wrap on this first hour on this, the Tuesday edition of Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Grizz Nation all-new 10, 22, and flex packs for the Grizzlies 2019-2020 season are on sale now. Big savings and guaranteed seats for the Lakers, Pelicans, Warriors, and more, starting at $12 per game. Get yours today by calling 901-888-HOOP or shop Grizzlies.com.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios, as promised. We don't have a lot of time, but let's take a call or two. We got some texts we can get to as well. Troy, we thank you for your patience. You are on.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great, man.
Good. I know you're running out of time, so I'll make it quick, but the theory has always been that Power 5 is a size bigger and a step faster than anybody in the group of 5, but I think we've proved that the disparity between the bottom 2/3 of the Power 5 and the top third of the group of 5 is not what it once was.
I agree.
Because we were able to push and defend and do all the things. Second quick point, it's the first game of the season. Both teams made some mistakes. There were a couple of bad calls on both sides of the ball. Procedure calls, false starts, those things don't bother me. It's the first game. Having said that, I'd rather be in a 15-10 opening game than a 49-0 like UCF had, because they didn't learn anything. We did.
All right. I asked this off the air yesterday. Troy, would you have rather won that game 15-10 or 45-40?
15-10.
If it was Ole Miss, 45-40 would have been just fine. But
that's true.
The point is, we now know we have a better defense than we have, but I think there's still some questions about the offense.
Agreed.
And in particular, the O-line, which you just heard, Gabe Kuhn, who he knows a lot more about line play than I do. He seemed to think, because of the matching of the physicality, that this line is going to be plenty good.
Yeah, the O-line did pretty much what they wanted to do. I kind of got the sense, other than fourth down, that Norvell was playing a little bit conservative, getting what he needed. The fact that we took a knee with a minute and a few seconds to go showed some intelligence on the field, because we didn't need to score. We needed to control the ball and the clock.
Let me tell you, that was Kenneth Gainwell. And that was brilliant. Smart. Because when he picked up that first down, there was a chance that he could have gotten to the end zone.
He had the corner.
He probably could have gotten in, but it was he knew you win the game if you slide. That's what you call finishing a game. Give Kenneth Gainwell all the credit in the world.
I went home and watched the replay of that game, and you could see him look at that defender thinking, I might make it, I might not, but if I take a knee, it's over.
Discretion was a better part of valor.
Yeah.
He made the right choice, Troy. No doubt about it. It was a winner making a winning play.
Yeah. So I'm excited about the 15-10 doesn't bother me. The lack of offense doesn't bother me. I'd like to see better offense, but I think our defense is so much better. We don't have to score 45 points to win anymore.
Troy, you play golf, don't you? You're an avid golfer.
Well, I try.
I know. Okay. Well, you know the old saying about golf. On that scorecard, you don't draw pictures.
This is true.
You just write a number down.
Write a number and get the eraser out when you don't like it.
It never asks how.
And win 18.
It just is.
And win 18, Troy, and you win cash.
That's right. That's right. One good shot will get you to come back.
Thank you, Troy. We appreciate it.
Right.
We do get a texter who it's funny. He's right. He goes, it's after the past several years under Mike Norvell, it sure feels weird to be talking about sputtering offense, doesn't it? And I don't think it's going to sputter for long. And I think
there's a lot of opening day-itis in there.
Unlike other people, I tend to think Ole Miss did a good job on defense.
I do too.
You've got a good corner. You've got a good safety. You've got two really good defensive linemen.
I thought the linebacker play was much
improved.
improved.
The linebacker's good.
Much improved.
I'm just saying.
There are better
I
defenses
think Memphis
out there,
will put up some offensive numbers against Southern this week.
You know, we'll know more as the year plays out, of course. But, you know, I mentioned probably at least 5, or if not 6. I don't know if it's 6. It's at least 5 SEC West defenses, I think, better and better fronts. But in the East, you know, I don't know. Missouri didn't show anything. Tennessee sure didn't show anything.
No.
South Carolina played a good opponent, but wasn't rugged on defense.
They blew the game.
I think Florida's got a big-time defense, and I think Georgia has a big-time defense.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I leaving out of the East? That's about it.
That's it. I would say, obviously, Tennessee had the biggest disappointment of any team in the SEC this week. Second, in my mind,
pushed around
is Missouri.
Mm-hmm. But you can give Missouri more of a pass than Tennessee because of the travel to Wyoming,
altitude,
all that good stuff. Tennessee right there at Neyland Stadium, year 2.
No, to a team that was picked last in its league, to a team that finished 2-10 last year,
and handled,
to a team that was handled by Memphis 59-22.
I know I told you off there, but I didn't on there yesterday. But I was listening to the Tennessee broadcast driving home Saturday afternoon and switching back to the Arkansas game to Chuck and Quinn, and I love Bob Kessling and Tim Priest. Tim Priest was just as candid and stark as he always is, and very on the money. So this team is just not very good, not prepared to play, and not a good performance.
Well,
it's very critical.
I did not hear any of that broadcast, but I did hear Ryan Leaf on the national TV broadcast, who was basically saying, where is Tennessee's defensive line? And there was no physicality at all, either side. But my goodness, what that young kid from Center Hill did, I mean, he made them look silly. He actually had 3 of them run into one another on one of his great runs. Now,
I think it is the worst
good
loss
player.
in Tennessee football history.
Could be. There's not that many losses to FCS schools.
They're FBS.
Oh, they're FBS. That's right. I keep forgetting their Sun Belt. Yeah.
But
you're 26-point favorite. You got to win the game. We take the timeout. When we come back, we will shift gears. And, not totally. We'll talk about another upset.
Talk about Tennessee.
That was Boise and
FSU,
which Brent Beard was at. We'll talk a little Hurricane Dorian, too. He's smack dab in the middle of it right now. We'll get a live report. Brent Beard is next on this edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Welcome to Sherwin-Williams.
Hi there. I heard paints are 30% off.
Yep, and stains too.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. Only at your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store.
Right now?
Well, August 29th through September 9th.
Ah, bring it in. I'm a big hugger.
It's cool. Ask Sherwin-Williams August 29th through September 9th and save 30% on paints and stains with sale prices starting at $26.94. Only at your local Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer. offer.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Brett Young live at the Garden, Saturday, September 14th at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden. One night, Brett Young, all the hits, with opening act Riley Green. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radians, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. Brett Young live at the Garden, Saturday, September 14th.
Need physical therapy but don't know where to go? Tried physical therapy but had a bad experience? Grab your physician's referral and head to Revolution Physical Therapy at the corner of Goodman and Getwell. At Revolution PT, you'll get one-on-one, hands-on therapy. Better and more thorough than just going to the gym. Revolution is locally owned and staffed by neighbors who care about your maximum recovery. And they accept all major insurances. Certified in dry needling, expert in myofascial release. Always relaxed and friendly. Revolution Physical Therapy is just what you need.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by the Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a one-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brett Norsworthy.
Strapped against my back.
Welcome back in. Stan Wawrinka out Medvedev in first semifinal of the major the young man's ever been in. Little stuff going on at Wimbledon. I believe it's Serena tonight in prime time, so we'll get a good look at her. In the meantime, we always chat college football with Brent Beard in this time slot. Now we really got something to talk about. Now, he was at the Florida State-Boise game, and so I want to get into that in a minute. But the first thing I have to ask you is about the Hurricane Dorian, and I know it's
been on the doorstep for a week.
Right. It's down to a Category 2, but that's still got a lot of wind. How is it in Jacksonville, Brent?
Well, tomorrow's the day. It is supposed to come near us tomorrow, so we're looking at probably, I would say, starting maybe even tonight, and particularly like from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock tomorrow night, or maybe even stretching into Thursday morning. We feel pretty confident. And listen, this thing has just been a miracle, frankly, that it continues to skip along the coast. Brett's right. I mean, we've been dealing with this for a week, literally.
It's been tomorrow for a week that it's going to hit.
Yeah, and it has been just taking its time as far as getting up here. I mean, our prayers go to the people in the Bahamas.
No question.
Who have,
man.
I mean, that's just unimaginable.
Well, that went over. That went over.
And again, if we escape this one, the thing that's difficult about living here is just the fact of you don't know what's behind it or coming in the next month or so. But regardless, we appreciate your prayers. It will hopefully be done and over, at least here, by tomorrow night and certainly by Thursday morning. But that doesn't mean that we haven't enjoyed going to games and keeping up with that all that's happened in college football.
And it was not a good thing for the Florida State Seminoles. They had a lead. They surrendered the lead. They couldn't hold it at all. Boise State is now in the top 25. Because of that, that sort of hurt Memphis' cause, to be honest with you. Now they got three teams. Boise
is going to be something to deal with.
Boise is going to be very, very tough. How much pressure on the coach now? And I heard this. This blew me away. Taggart said in his press conference yesterday, I guess it was, blaming dehydration for his guys not being ready. And I'm saying to myself, who's been practicing in that heat and who was practicing up in the Northwest where You don't have that kind of humidity and heat in Boise, Idaho. How in the world could he use that excuse?
I think that floored people yesterday. I mean, you've got high school, junior high, and peewee football coaches who get that these kids are hydrated throughout the week. And the problem you've got with Taggart right now is people that just have no confidence in him. Now, I think that with Kendall Briles, in what they showed in the first half, there was a little bit of hope with them, and then to basically get shut out and shut down, get beat by freshman quarterback. And the amazing thing about it is, Brett, Dave, and back to the dehydration thing, I mean, Boise was in better shape. And I mean, they weren't needing all these IVs and all these timeouts in the fourth quarter. Florida State was, and it was a very difficult loss for them, which really meant. Now they'll beat Louisiana Monroe this weekend, but where their big game is coming up is in 2 weeks, or next week is when they play Virginia. Virginia's been picked to win their division. Bryce Perkins is one of the better dual threat quarterbacks. The last thing Taggart needs is to sort out 1 and 2. Now, without belaboring the point here, very quickly, he, in the minds of a lot of people, probably deserves another year because of the mess that Jimbo left it in. But at this point, guys, this is on Taggart. It's not Jimbo. He's had a chance to get something done with this program, and if they don't look better by the end of the year, then that's going to give them a real dilemma. I don't think they've got the money to buy he and his staff out, bring somebody else in. But at some point, Brett and Dave, if you realize this ain't going to work, you got to cut your losses, don't you?
Explain to me this, and I mean it sincerely. And I'm not saying Willie Taggart doesn't deserve another year. I'm not saying that, but I don't understand it when the ACC revenues are like $40 million a year. When you sell out every game in Tallahassee, Florida, how can there not be the money? Where have they spent that money?
Well, they have had a problem over the last few years in the athletic department in general. Now, what's a little bit misleading for them, and I know you guys would understand this, but the SEC schools, a school like Florida in the same state, has got an enormous amount of alumni. Now, the truth of the matter is, Florida State doesn't. So they don't have the money that some of these other schools do. That's what I hear from people that I talk to who are on some of their boards. Now, that doesn't mean they're going bankrupt tomorrow either, as you mentioned, for the money that's coming in, particularly from the ACC network. But it's just harder for them, I think, to unload him this quickly with the buyout and all this other stuff that goes along with it, and hire someone else instantly.
So Brent, here we are, week 2, and we're openly, and we're not alone. There's a reason why we are, because we hear it and we reply to it. Willie Taggart, hot seat. Jeremy Pruitt, hot seat. Matt Luke, hot seat. Chad Morris, warming seat.
Yeah.
God, what a crazy business.
Yeah.
It's the life they chose. Will Muschamp, hot seat.
Will Muschamp to that situation too, because frankly, they're very much running out of patience with him too.
And now he's without his quarterback. It sounds like Bentley's gone for the year.
Well, sometimes guys go to younger quarterbacks either through injury or just to do it, shake things up, in the effort to buy themselves another year. The problem with Will is Will very much looks like that he is a 7-5 or 8-4 football coach
Anywhere, Florida, South Carolina, anywhere.
Yeah. So now that's not saying that they can't turn some of this around. And I've also talked to South Carolina people who have said, well, if he averages 8-9 wins a year for 5 to 10 years, they would build a statue of him out by the caboose. So, but the question is, if you're a SEC fan and you're seeing everybody else do well, the question that comes up is, well, why isn't my school doing better than they are if you're a South Carolina fan? So, but that's a point well taken. You've got a lot of coaches right now that are another disaster or two away in the game from being in some real trouble.
Well, there's one guy I think off the hot seat, at least for this week, and that's Gus Malzahn. I mean, he goes, wins the game against Oregon. He's got a freshman quarterback who could really, really be good. They kept their poise. They came from behind. I think we got to give a little more credit than maybe we've been given the last couple of days to Auburn.
They did a good job, and Kevin Steele's defense did very well too. So he deserves a lot of credit along with that. Now, I think but again, here's the thing though. That good feeling from beating Oregon can be erased real quick with that schedule they've got.
That's
although
the constant banana peel he's on.
They probably will be undefeated going into the Florida game here in Gainesville, but then they've got like Florida. They've got Florida, Mississippi State, and LSU in this trio, and I think how that comes out, guys, will determine how Gus does this year.
Well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, I don't think he's got chopped liver against Tulane. Now, Tulane's not going to win that game. It's at Auburn.
Look, I'm glad you said that, and I've told some people that too, Dave. I said, look, they may have a lot more trouble with Tulane than people think they will.
And then they got, don't forget, after Kent State, which they should handle, they got A&M in College Station.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, is this week with LSU going to Texas, would that be Ed Orgeron's signature win at LSU? And if it does that back off a lot of people for him? Because he feels like he constantly can play himself into trouble.
I think they've backed off of him already. I really do.
Is this the big back off? Everybody go away and let me coach. Brent?
Well, if they were to go beat Texas and Austin, I think that is it would at least temporarily. He's not the pressure really is not going to get off of him until he beats Saban. Let's just be honest about that. Now, here's the thing: they looked really good against Georgia Southern. Now, we all know what Dave Aranda can do. Who was at Hawaii, and then he was at Wisconsin. He's one of the best D coordinators in the league, if he's not the best. What was different about this game was they actually looked like they had a pulse throwing the ball. The thing is, guys, will they continue to do that and have success against Todd Orlando's defense at Texas, or does go back to what he normally does and wants to run the ball on first and second down and throw it on third?
Well,
that's as far as what Brett is saying, that's going to be his challenge for Saturday night.
O's got a quarterback this time with Joe Burrow. And I picked them to lose to Texas, and that could very well happen. And I got to ask you this, since we're always putting Orgeron, who I actually have started to gain a little respect for. Herman has been handed all this respect. Where's his big signature win?
Dave, so true.
So if
he did beat OU
if
last
he
year.
wins, he did.
Yeah,
he did, and he's got a quarterback
That's a
too,
lot of
and
currency.
that's kind of the way I'm why I'm picking him.
And LSU wanted Herman over O.
I know they did.
They did.
They did.
Dave, to answer that, Brett, I think them beating Georgia, albeit a very disinterested Georgia,
but
in the
bring your own
Sugar Bowl, got him a lot of attention during the summer. In the off season, but look, I like Herman. I think he's going to do a good job there, and eventually, if he's strong enough to get through the politics of that alumni base, they could end up doing something special before it's over.
That takes
so. As it is for O, I mean, this is a pretty big game for him Saturday night.
That political game at Texas, great points, both of y'all.
But if you win it like Mac Brown did, you can be there a long time.
You practically have to be LBJ to win that political parlor game that they play. They play it for keeps.
And look, I don't know if people understand what a big deal that is. And I can tell you this, that is one of the reasons, and I know a lot of it with Jimmy Sexton doing his job, and he does it well. But that's really one of the reasons Saban didn't want to get involved with that, because Saban's one of these guys that he wants and has to have total control, and he's got that at Alabama, and he's kept the influential guys at arm's reach or length. And and look, that's a humongous part of that job. As Brett said a minute ago, if you can keep those guys at bay and in lockstep with you, you'll be successful. If you can't, that job's a nightmare.
I mean, the booster envy. They go to the golf course, and Mr. Bigwig Booster X sees him playing golf with Mr. Bigwig Booster Y. He's mad over it. He's vacationing. He's vacationing with who this weekend, or he's at such and such lake house. I want him at mine. I mean, it is constantly that. And I think Tom Herman had it. Mac Brown was at a Central Casting to play.
He was the master.
He
really was.
He really was.
And what a big win for him this week. My question, point blank, I have Texas winning this game strictly.
You got Texas in the playoffs.
Strictly because it's in Austin. How do you view it?
I've got Texas winning too, and because I don't have enough and they may prove us all wrong, but I don't have enough confidence yet in LSU's offense that they can continue to do what they really want to do. I still think, I still think he's growing as a coach and maturing. I mean, you can make the same argument for Herman, but I would agree with you. But I would agree with you guys. I'm not sure that LSU's ready to win that game yet. They may be next year. They could be in November. But I like it. And I'm with you guys. I think Texas could get in the playoffs too, because I think they'll be better, and I think they'll beat Oklahoma and be able to get in there.
Dave has Clemson, Bama, Texas, Michigan in the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me at all if he's dead on. LSU, a 5.5-point favorite. The growth in Orgeron, I hear that. Ron Higgins practically convinced me of it at SEC Media Days in private conversations. He practically convinced me of it. But couldn't it also just parallel the growth of O with the LSU program? It may not be really growing. It's just not going backwards. Orgeron may not be getting better. He's just not showing some of the house of horrors he showed at Ole Miss.
You got to have a quarterback. Memphis has seen that with Ferguson and with Lynch to turn the whole culture around. Joe Burrow's the best quarterback they've had since Mettenberger for sure. I think this this guy can really do the job. I think that's why they're
absolutely.
And the defense, their defense is good.
Well, what O said, and Brett can help us on this, but in O's previous head coaching job, he said the mistake that he made was he had a finger in every pie, and he tried to run everything and wouldn't let his assistants do what they needed to do. If he learned from that, and look, when you've got a Dave Aranda, you just got to say, Dave, it's your baby, you take it, and I'm going to be the CEO and go from there. So if he can, if O learns nothing else but that, he'll be a better football coach.
I want to see a little more.
You'll see it.
I do too.
You'll see it on Saturday. You'll see it on Saturday. How about the Ole Miss Arkansas game, because this is a critical game. The loser pretty much has a tough year and doesn't make a bowl.
And it's early September.
Second week of the year.
Yeah, and I agree and that's going to be very. I've got to believe with those coordinators and Matt Corral that Ole Miss can score more than 10 points. And to me, the winner of that game is going to be will be the team that has the better defense. But you're right. You can see that particular game is and people don't get this. They'll say it's just September, but see, the winner of that game to me's got a leg up on a bowl game, and that's what those two schools need desperately, is to be able to do that, and that makes it a very important football game.
Any other one that really strikes your fancy this week?
Well, I mean, the question is going to be
Tennessee and BYU.
My first question is, how was Tennessee favored in that game?
Yeah, I don't expect. Now, I'll say this. I was pretty, and I know who they played Thursday night, but Kellen Mond was absolutely brilliant that game at times. I mean, he made some throws that were Johnny Manziel-like as far as an accuracy. I still think they are a year away, guys, but the reality for that is I don't think they can beat Clemson and Clemson, but, could we have another shootout like we did last year? That's possible.
Could very well be. We will wish you the very, very best.
Be safe.
Come tomorrow. That's when it's supposed to really hit, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It will be basically from I would say from 8 in the morning till, let's say, midnight or something like that. And again, what they're saying is if the thing can stay 50 to 70 miles off the coast, that will be huge for everybody. But they're temperamental, and I know I'm talking like these things like it's a person, but the reality is you just don't. Look, 25 miles either way could be huge for a lot of people, and particularly for the people who've got beach houses and things like that. I mean, a move like that inward could be disastrous for them. But for now, we really believe that it's going to stay off the coast and will not hit anyone. Because I'm telling you guys, if that thing had come straight up Florida, that it would have been a really difficult.
Oh my gosh, it would. Well, just look at the Bahamas. So from Brett and Drew and myself, we leave you with this.
You only have one option, Brent. You got to ride it out.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We're glad we could get a laugh out of you.
Believe me, we all needed that today, fellas. I can assure you.
Thank you, Brent.
There's got to be a big strobe light somewhere with REO Speedwagon, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to be.
I used to see these guys quarter beer night, Merlin's, Southern Illinois University. I know these guys.
Did you get your value?
Oh, baby.
Oh, Brent, you be safe, okay?
Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Quarter beer night, huh?
Oh, yeah. Little bar. They
guys?
this is where they made it. Just before they before they hit it big, they did a circle. Seriously, they would go play Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, and Champaign. Those three
just
places.
College clubs.
Just come every weekend to one of those places.
Frats, bars,
every place. But they would do this, and they would pack it in.
I wonder what they would charge. Wonder what their rate was.
I think they got a cut of the gate.
It
was that. They were just starting.
Yeah,
it's 1971.
Normal guys,
great guys, and they made it.
They sure did make. And they everybody coming out of that vintage, a horn and a strobe light. Yeah, you had to have both.
Yeah. This portion of the show brought to you by The Butcher Shop. That's a good place to go right out any kind of storm. Go on Friday. Go on Friday. It's Hamburger Friday. It's the best hamburger in this city and maybe this state, maybe this country. This is where they take all that steak on Friday morning and they grind it so it's fresh. And then they cook it up right in front of you. You walk through the door, they've got the grill going. You tell them medium rare, whatever you want. It could be well done, could be rare. They got lettuce, tomato, onion. They got ketchup and pickles and mustard and mayo. They got it all. And you can order fries. You can get chips. You order a drink. You really walk through the line. They put the burger on when you tell them what you want. And you can get cheese if you want to. Then you go sit down. And it's unbelievable. It's just the best. And then I want to remind you, Sunday and Monday, you love football. They got TVs all over the place. They got the $25 entrees. That includes salad, baked potato, their famous bread. You can get a strip. You can get prime rib. You can get a salmon with a dill sauce. You can get grilled boneless pork chops, crab stuffed shrimp. They got it all, even 20% off on appetizers, on desserts. That's every Sunday and Monday, 5 to 8:30. It's always a great time at the Butcher Shop in the Agri Center, right there at Germantown Road and Poplar. We take a break. We are back in a minute. We talk some NFL with Jeff Moore. Then we're making our picks, too. Can't wait for all of that as you listen to the Tuesday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios, halfway through our Tuesday. You know at this time slot, every week we bring in our friend Jeff Moore, and he talks NFL. Of course, he played for the Rams in Los Angeles the first time they were there. He also played for the Volunteers of Tennessee. Volunteers of Tennessee did not look anything like the team he played for when he was a member of that squad.
And you were there in noisy years, your freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah. I have to ask you, as a proud alum, what in the world are you thinking?
Well, you know what? I was enjoying watching the Tigers beat Ole Miss this weekend. I was up in the stands rooting for them. But, you know, we didn't look good offensively, defensively, special teams. And that's probably more disappointing to me than the score. I mean, I think to lose a game and you play well, but you just get beat by the other team is one thing. But to look as dismal as we looked on both sides of the ball in special teams, it's quite concerning. I know they've got some good athletes there that can play. So you have to look at the coaching staff. You have to look at what kind of strategy they're employing, both offensively, defensively. You give some credit to their opponent, but I thought they played bad more so than Georgia State played good.
I'm glad you did give credit to the other side.
Yeah.
I heard a radio guy just refuse to give credit to a team that beat his team earlier this week.
I give credit to
and I think you've got to give credit to and I'll in particular
just really bad form. If you get beaten, all you say is "good game, congratulations."
Right.
The kid from Center Hill, Ellington, really put on a show. I mean, he is one fast guy, and I suspect that Georgia State is going to win a fair share of games. But if you're a Tennessee fan, I look really at their line play, both sides. And that is what's the scariest part for me. I don't know how they're favored against BYU.
I don't either. Jeff, your freshman sophomore year was the last 2 years of coach battle, and that was really the first time in my lifetime the Tennessee fan base got after a coach. Well, they had the comfortable landing spot with Coach Majors. It just made too much sense. Johnny came marching home, a national champ from Pitt.
Right.
Did you feel that pressure? Did you feel the yard sale, the for sale signs in Coach Battle's yard?
I mean, we felt it indirectly because the coaches were just as tight as they could be. I mean, they were feeling the pressure, so it just translated on the field. But, you know, we always look back at that time as a time of growth for us as young players. Both those 2 years with him and the first 2 years with Coach Majors when he was trying to establish a foundation. But it's tough. I mean, you know, I talk about I have mad respect for college football coaches because, I mean, they have families, they have friends. It's a tough job. You know, we hear about the Sabans and the Dabos and so forth, those guys that are super successful and how they're compensated. But there are a lot of coaches out there that struggle, that, coordinators get let go every year, their families have to, it's just a tough job. And so I have respect for them, but, that's why they get paid the big bucks too. Now, we have to say that. For a young athlete, it's tough, but it's learning the game of life
and
when you're going through that. Yeah.
Livelihood depends on 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but it's about preparing them, though. I mean, these guys are guys that you can influence in a lot of ways. You can show them how to get the most out of their abilities. You can show them how to play above their capabilities when they're motivated and what have you. So there's definitely, there's an art to being a great coach, college, high school, pro. And I always give kudos to those coaches that have the ability to get the most out of a player, whether he's a talented guy or whether he's a diva like Antonio Brown, but you're able to connect with them. Phil Jackson in the NBA reminds me a lot of a guy who, regardless of what the personality was, he was able to connect with the guy and get them to perform the best. Mm-hmm. That's a unique skill for coaches.
Yeah. Steve Kerr now.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr seems to have that.
Well, I've always said, like, even administrators, and the best guy that I always think about is Lee Fowler, for whatever reason. Guys that are administrators that have to deal with getting money in and getting along with people. And the guy that can get along with the president of the company and the janitor and connect with both, that's a talent.
It is.
And honestly, Jeremy Pruitt did not get the most out of his troops the other day. There's no question about that.
He didn't. And then, you bring up another point. You not only have to be able to mold and get the most out of the players, you've got to be able to be above average at PR and dealing with the press, dealing with that whole piece, and that takes a commitment to developing that skill if you don't naturally have that skill, because it's not easy. I mean,
I dealt with a coach that really didn't have a whole lot of time for anybody in the media, any of his guys. I mean, we're on your team, and then when it goes the other direction on you, and he texts or reach out to you, how about a helping hand? How about a favorable, friendly voice? Hey, man, you didn't know I was alive before it went the other way. Sorry. Click.
It's hard. I mean, and that's part of the job. I mean, you got to be able to deal with the PR. And some guys they have thin skin, and they're not able to handle the criticism. They're not able to explain what it is they're trying to get accomplished with the team. So, everybody who is a great defensive coordinator or a great offensive coordinator, to me, just doesn't translate to a great head coach.
And Jeremy Pruitt's dad is legendary high school football coach in Alabama. Been high school football coach approaching 40 years at a lot of different spots.
Well, and I think he was a great coordinator. I don't think there's any question about that.
Great recruiter. Yeah.
We see this in the NFL, too, a lot, where guys were just great coordinators. They get promoted to head coaches. And to me, I mean, I could tell this guy's not a leader of men. This guy.
I got a question for you in that regard, then, because I was really sort of upset when Adam Gase took the Miami job.
Okay.
And here we are with John Fox, if you're a Bear fan, and you're going, oh, man, I wish things had, gone a little differently. And now he is not doing the job in Miami. In fact,
no, he's with the Jets. With the Jets.
Yeah, but
he didn't get it done.
He didn't get it done.
Yeah,
and I think he was a great coordinator. So I agree. That happens everywhere.
Well, again, it's a totally different job, and what tickles me sometimes is when a guy who's a head coach decides, because he was a great coordinator and he's been promoted or hired as a head coach, that he wants to do both jobs. It doesn't work. I mean, it's two different levels of skill and commitment, and the guys that do it well don't try to do both.
All right, this is the day we are in our next segment going to make our predictions. So we'll let you take the stage. You can start with the NFC East or the AFC East, however you want to go through it, and tell us what's going to happen this year in the National Football League. It begins on Thursday. Bears Packs the way it should to start the 100th year.
What a great game, man! I'm so looking forward to that.
You think a lot of people will be watching?
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna watch every second of it.
What do you think the number on that's going to be?
I'm one of those that really Chicago has sold me, because I think you have to have a great defense to win championships. You got to have offense in this day and age because teams score a lot of points. But this Chicago Bears defense, if they just begin with where they were last year and they're able to improve, they're special. And, you've got Aaron Rodgers coming into this game with a new offense. He really hasn't had any live play in the preseason. And I understand why you sit a guy down sometime like him. But it's a totally different thing going from no activity to live playing a new offense against a great defense. I like Chicago in that game. I expect it to be a competitive game, but I do like Chicago in that game and in that division. I like them as the best team in that division. Minnesota's very good. They're going to be coming back with a lot of talented veterans on that team. But Minnesota, to me, is just a team that has a lot of talent, but they haven't shown me that they can play together and win with that talent. So I like them maybe coming in second in that division, and then Green Bay.
Green Bay third, and of course Detroit fourth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
AFC East, no change. The Patriots, of course. Just
how could you pick anybody but that?
They're just commitment to excellence. They're going to be having to plug in some pieces in their offensive line. Got to replace the center. Got to replace Gronk, but I got to believe they're going to figure it out. The Jets, I think, are going to be better. I like the addition of Le'Veon Bell to that team, and their quarterback is. I think he's going to take another step forward. Sam. Is going to play better this year in his second year in that and on that team. So I like them in number 2 and Buffalo number 3. Miami seems to be shipping all their players away and just
holding before they start.
That is crazy.
and building draft picks for the future, and I can respect that. But that would be the way I expect that division.
So
to
New
shape
England
out.
Jets, Buffalo, Miami in the AFC East with improved play from Sam Darnold.
Yes.
AFC North.
AFC North is going to be fascinating to me this season because I think Pittsburgh, to me, is the class of the league because of their experience, because of the veterans they have on that team, and Ben Roethlisberger, to me, is a Hall of Fame quarterback and a warrior. I expect him to have another big year. He had his best year in terms of passing yardage last year. Antonio Brown's not there, but I like Smith-Schuster. He's a very talented receiver. They seem to have not missed a big step in their running game, and that defense to me was so impressive in the preseason. I expect them to win the division. I like Cleveland coming in second, though. I mean, I think with the talent in that team, I like their coach, Freddie Kitchens, and the way that he lets these guys be themselves, but translate and leave their talent on the field. They've got some playmakers on that team.
You like them better than Baltimore, then?
I like them better than Baltimore, but I do like Baltimore. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to take a step further and become a better passer, which is going to help them have a little more balance. Hopefully they won't be relying on him to run the ball as much this year. I like Baltimore third, and then, of course, Cincinnati, the woeful Cincinnati Bengals coming in where they normally come in.
AFC South.
Again, intriguing division because of the retirement of Andrew Luck. I like Houston. I like what they've done to protect their quarterback. They went out and got a left tackle. They went out and got another receiver. Losing their running back to the knee injury is a big. Lamar Miller is a big loss, but they've brought in some guys that hopefully by committee will be able to at least come close to replacing that production. But they've got a special guy at quarterback, and if they protect him, he's shown that he can.
They paid a lot for Tunsil.
Yeah, he's shown that he can put up big numbers and score a lot of points. They got one of the best receivers in the league.
Do you know how many times he got sacked last? Deshaun Watson got sacked, or the Texan quarterbacks, like 62 times. That was the smartest thing they could have done.
Got tired of seeing him hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, if you don't want a guy retiring prematurely like Andrew Luck, I mean, he's already shown you better protect him.
Shockwaves, didn't it?
Yeah, you better protect your quarterback.
So Houston wins at who's 2, 3, and 4. Tough division to pick.
Oh, man. I like the Colts. I mean, I think Jacoby Brissett, I think, is going to step in there, and he's not going to be Andrew Luck, but he's going to be sufficient. This team was being picked to potentially be a Super Bowl pick, and, of course, a lot of that was because of Luck, but they do have a good defense. They have good, talented receivers.
You think you can win that division with Jacoby Brissett?
I do. I think he was considered one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. And Tennessee, to me, just has not shown me that they can go to the next step. I don't know what it is with Mariota, but it just seems like he just hits a wall. But I do think they'll be better than Jacksonville.
Well, I don't. Maybe I've been prejudiced by one Brett Norsworthy. But you're missing Jacksonville with that great defense and Leonard Fournette.
I've got Jacksonville winning that division.
Okay.
I don't have.
I hope so. I mean, I hope that 2 years ago wasn't a fluke. I love the way they played. I thought they ran their mouths too much 2 years ago. Yeah. They were just a little too brass a couple of years ago, and of course they took a step back. But we'll see. I like the quarterback, Nick Foles. We'll see.
In the West, and then a Super Bowl rep out of the AFC.
AFC West is, again, a great division. Kansas City, to me, is the class of division because of their quarterback. But San Diego has a great staff. They have great players. Unfortunately, I hate to see I think their running back, Melvin, is getting bad advice. I think he's kind of overplayed his hand, and I'm not sure where Melvin Gordon does now. If he was smart, he'd get on into camp and play, take the last offer they made for him and get in there and play, because the running back position is not the lucrative position that it used to be. Guys are just so interchangeable these days, and they're not as durable. But of course, I understand why he's trying to get his money. But I like San Diego to come in second.
Los Angeles Chargers. They're in LA.
Excuse me,
it's hard.
Los Angeles Chargers.
We find everybody around here $1 on that.
Yeah, I still could see them as the San Diego Chargers. But yeah, the LA Chargers in second place. The Raiders, I think, will be fighting for number 3, but I think they'll be better.
So you have Denver in last.
Denver, to me, although I like the addition of their quarterback, I just don't. I don't think they've got enough weapons. Although their defense is very respectable.
Since you mentioned running backs that have been playing their hands,
yes.
ESPN is reporting the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott very close to an agreement. Agent Rocky Arsenault traveling with Elliott from Cabo San Lucas to Dallas to get the deal done. So
they'll get it.
Your AFC rep in the Super Bowl?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City. All right, to the NFC, and we got to scoot because we're
got to speed it up.
Close on time.
Okay.
We went over the North. You had Bears, Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit. East.
I'm going to say Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Giants, Redskins.
Okay.
Giants over the Redskins. Okay.
And in the South, I know you love the Saints.
I love the Saints. I think the Saints are going to go all the way in that to the Super Bowl. But the other teams in that division, Carolina, Atlanta,
it's a great division.
Tampa.
It is. And in the West?
The West Rams, I think, will win that division. Seattle will be fighting them all the way tooth and nail to the end.
We're similar in a lot of ways.
I like Arizona a little bit better than San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah, San Francisco just hadn't shown me
I like
anything.
Kyler Murray more than I do Jimmy Garoppolo.
There you go, yeah.
And your NFC rep in the Super Bowl?
Is the Saints.
So a New Orleans Saints, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl. It was almost that last year.
It was.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Who wins it?
New Orleans.
Does Drew Brees walk away a la John Elway?
He does.
Look
He
at
does.
y'all. Look at y'all. I think we got two simpatico.
We'll find out in a little bit.
It'd be a very
won't we?
popular Super Bowl, wouldn't it?
All right.
It would be.
Super Bowl, Kansas City, and New Orleans. It would be really popular. It'd be a lot of offense. That is for sure. Jeff, as always, we appreciate
Great
it.
stuff.
We'll see how you. Who do you have in the Packers Green Bay game? Just out of curiosity.
He went Bears.
I got the Bears.
Oh, Bears all the way.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Making sure. Just making sure. Very good. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care, guys.
All right. This portion of the show, in fact, this hour of the show is brought to you by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, home of assurance, home of technology, home of safety features, home of service, and the shopper assurance. Well, that's Chris True's deal. That's different from the Homer Skelton Hyundai assurance. And a bunch of Hyundai dealerships do the assurance with 10 years, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty because the product's so good. But you go to see Homer, and you're going to get shopper assurance, which is transparent pricing, flexible test drive, streamlined process. When you decide to buy, you're in and you're out. And then any buyer's remorse, you got 3 days. The 3-day worry-free exchange. Just take Lamar into Mississippi. First exit's Craft Road. Take a left right there, and then you'll see the greatest marriage of technology and service. The way car business should be done. You know, when you see that, you are at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Back in a minute, we make our picks on the NFL. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Attention, you may be eligible for cash payments, identity theft protection services, and other benefits in the Equifax data breach proposed class action settlement. If you're one of about 147 million U.S. consumers whose information was impacted in the 2017 Equifax data breach, you may be eligible for cash payments for time and money you spent because of the data breach. Visit EquifaxBreachSettlement.com for more information about your rights under the settlement and to make a claim. Or you can call toll-free 1-833-759-2982. That's EquifaxBreachSettlement.com or call 1-833-759-2982. This is a court-approved legal notice paid for by the Equifax Data Breach Class Action Settlement Fund.
You love your pets, but you can't take them with you when you travel, so what do you do with Fido and Fluffy? Take them to Pet Suites. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville is now accepting reservations at their gorgeous new facility that accommodates dogs and cats of all ages. Complete with bone-shaped in-ground pools, indoor and outdoor play yards, expert care, and friendly staff. Book now and new customers get 25% off their first service. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, 4520 South Forest Hill Irene Road. Pet Suites, your pet's new favorite place.
The fellow was tired and weak all the time. Finally, he decided to visit his doctor. What's the best thing I can do? The doctor knew something about the man's wild and fast-paced lifestyle. What's the best thing you can do? You can go home after work, eat a nutritious meal, get a good night's rest, and stop running around and carousing all night. That's the best thing you can do. The man pondered for a moment, then asked, "What's the next best thing I can do?" Too often we decide for the next best things because we're not willing to pay the price for the very best. We're not willing to give up habits that are taking their toll on our physical health. We're not willing to give up activities and relationships that are morally questionable. We're not willing to pay the price of spiritual discipline. There's no point in seeking a meaningful life if we're willing to only do the next best thing in finding it. I'm Shane Stanford with Christ Church Memphis. Remember, you matter.
Visit ChristChurchMemphis.org.
The Memphis Tigers football team hosts Southern Saturday, September 7th at 11 a.m. This will be the annual Kroger game, where fans can purchase $10 game tickets at all area Kroger stores. A portion of the proceeds go to the Mid-South Food Bank in support of stamping out hunger in the region. Head coach Mike Norvell and the Memphis football team boast one of the nation's most explosive offenses, so you don't want to miss a single play. Memphis versus Southern, Saturday, September 7th at 11 a.m. Get your $10 tickets at area Kroger stores today. Stripe up.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens, and they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in. We cruise through our second hour here. It's pick time. We got to do this fast, right?
All right, so AFC East, I've got everybody. The whole Western civilization's got it. New England, I have New England, Buffalo, the Jets, and Miami. You in the East.
I have New England, Brady, no Gronk, doesn't matter. The Jets, Buffalo, and Miami.
Pretty close. North, I have Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincinnati, with both Cleveland and Baltimore being wild cards.
I've got Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I've got Cleveland and Cincinnati. There are no wild cards there.
In the South, I have Jacksonville winning. That's my shocker. Houston 2, Titans 3, Indy 4.
I have Houston winning the division, Jacksonville getting a wild card, Tennessee and Indy.
West, Kansas City, Chargers, Oakland, Denver.
I have Kansas City, Chargers, a wild card team, Denver, and Oakland. I have Oakland last.
My AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh at Kansas City, with Pittsburgh winning.
Well, okay, so I have the wild cards, Jacksonville, Houston, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers have got Houston.
No, you just have two wild cards.
Yeah. And they are the Chargers, and they are Jacksonville. So I got the Chargers beating Pittsburgh in a wild card game. Houston winning. I got Houston and New England, Kansas City and the Chargers. I got New England beating Kansas City. New England's in the Super Bowl.
New England again beating Kansas City just like last year.
Yep.
I have divisional round Jacksonville at Pittsburgh, New England at Kansas City, Pittsburgh and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, with Pittsburgh advancing. NFC East.
NFC East, I've got Philly, Dallas second, not making the playoffs, Washington and the Giants.
I have Dallas 1, Philly 2, but a wild card, Washington 3, Giants 4. North, I have the Bears, Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit.
Exactly that way, and I got Minnesota as a wild card.
I do not. In the South, I have New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Same exact way. I've got Atlanta as a wild card.
West, you're West.
I've got the Rams, Seattle, San Francisco, and Arizona.
That's exactly my order, with Seattle for me a wild card. So wild card weekend will be Philly at New Orleans.
I've got Philly at Minnesota
with Philly winning. Seattle at Chicago.
I got the Rams against Atlanta
with Seattle
with the
winning.
Rams and I have the Rams winning.
NFC Championship game. The divisional round, I have Philly at Dallas with Dallas winning. Seattle at the Rams with Seattle winning.
I've got the Rams and the Bears winning. Philly at New Orleans winning. NFC Championship, I got the Bears and New Orleans with New Orleans winning and going to the Super Bowl.
Bears at New Orleans. If just somehow, some way, say a Saturday Tigers-Tulane game in New Orleans for you, and you stay for Sunday for NFC Championship game.
You buy me the ticket? That is so kind of you.
I think you can find a ticket, can't you?
I'll try.
NFC Championship game, I have the Cowboys over Pittsburgh and or Cowboys over Seattle, and in the Super Bowl.
You have Seattle going that far.
I do, as a wild card.
I don't have either the Cowboys or Seattle in the playoffs, and you've got them in the championship.
And for the first time since about 1995.
Pittsburgh and Dallas for you?
And Dallas winning the Super Bowl. Dallas over the Steelers.
I don't even
with
have
Ezekiel Elliott.
I don't even have them making the playoffs. Drew, what do you got?
Right. I guess I'll start in the AFC. I'll just skip all the way to the AFC Championships. In the AFC Championship, I got Patriots and Texans. I got Texans winning that, going to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, I got Eagles and Saints. Saints winning. The NFC, Saints beating the Texans in the Super Bowl.
So we have the same team. You, me, and Jeff all have the Saints.
Interesting. I know come Super Bowl party time, big game party time, Jason's Deli would be the great place to cater the party, to watch the games on Thursday night, to watch any of the games. Jason Deli, healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's all about choice at Jason's Deli, like all these salads, the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, the nutty mixed up salad, all the different great salads, the taco salad, and on the salad bar, over 30 items just to choose from, just from the salad bar. It's all about choice. Build your own sandwich. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Catering anytime, anywhere for all the big games. And at these locations, you can end the meal with the free ice cream. Locations on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Again, free ice cream in any of the restaurants. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Also, this portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Group. Big Memphis guy. He loves Memphis. He loves the Tigers, and he's got over 20 years of insurance experience right here in this market. In fact, he's a young guy. It's hard to believe he's been around for 20 years, but he's got so much energy, and he's built all kinds of offices all around town. The main one in Bartlett, 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. He's built his business with this very good approach, one-on-one. He evaluates each individual's insurance needs. That could be personal. It could be business. He specializes in all types of insurance. He sits you down. He figures out what's most important to you. He works with you to make sure that you are protected. You'll feel protected when he is done. Call for quotes and personalized service. Simple. 757-2315, or go to Stage Hills Boulevard in Bartlett and go and see him. He is terrific. He is Matt Eflin of the Eflin Insurance Group. When we come back, more NFL. Bo Marchant, collegetosports.com, collegetopro.com. He's next on Sportstime with Wolo and Stats.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up, with the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the show, we have Maurice Jones and Mario Pratcher in studio with John and I as we recap Southern University, get you ready for South Alabama, and of course, we'll have some surprise special guests.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
You love your pets, but you can't take them with you when you travel. So what do you do with Fido and Fluffy? Take them to Pet Suites. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville is now accepting reservations at their gorgeous new facility that accommodates dogs and cats of all ages. Complete with bone-shaped in-ground pools, indoor and outdoor play yards, expert care, and friendly staff. Book now and new customers get 25% off their first service. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville, 4520 South Forest Hill Irene Road. Pet Suites, your pet's new favorite place. If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
A mountain of NFL picks. It's that time of year with the NFL starting season 100. On Thursday night, we talked to Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com about his NFL picks in the Pittsburgh Steelers year that he covers oh so closely after I tell you about DeSoto Auto Sales, sponsor of this hour, where they have the highest standards in the car industry down in DeSoto County at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test driven, all the cars checked out from head to toe, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where they treat you like family by kind, courteous employees in a down-home, laid-back environment. No high-pressure sales, but they do want you to enjoy and have the ultimate car experience, and they think that is a very timely one. They know we're living in a world that time matters. They want you to walk in, meet with a sales rep, find the car you want, get credit approved, finish the paperwork, all in about 45 minutes. It's that simple. Visit them online for the many, many referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County, to DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road, and enjoy that town and country experience.
Big. It's going to be a big night. If you're a tennis fan, Wimbledon, you got Serena Williams and Roger Federer. But the breaking news right now, Ezekiel Elliott on his way to Dallas. Looks like that deal's going to be done here in time for the regular season. We'll see if he plays on Sunday. More about that coming your way. We talk with our guy on a NFL, Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. First thing I got to ask you is, would you believe and would you test him for sanity if you knew a guy just picked the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl? I'm looking at a guy who just did that very thing. What do you think, Bo Marchant?
He said he had a big one for me earlier today, and I never expected that one. I thought he would go Eagles, or I was trying to look. I never even ever looked at those two teams. But he totally got me there.
And I'm no raging Cowboys or Steelers fan. Like both of them, certainly don't dislike either one of them. And it just feels like that collision course this year for me. Mike Tomlin needs it. Jason Garrett, he's got to have a playoff run. He cannot have anything other than going to the playoffs, can he, Bo?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be football season if we're not talking about Jason Garrett being on the hot seat, and then he's always resilient and he gets the team to perform. The Cowboys, it seems like Zeke's on his way back, so there's going to, according to what we're all hearing, there's going to be 90 million reasons why Jerry Jones is going to ask him to suit up against the Giants this Sunday. So, and then on you flip it to the Steelers, Tomlin was in on a little bit of a hot seat, and I know a take that I carried around here was, there was a lot of debate on if Tomlin deserved the extension. I think the Steelers, and this is just pure speculation on my behalf, but I almost thought they went that direction just to kind of let there be no tension, nothing to talk about to distract the team moving forward. Hey, we gave the coaches an extension. Bell and Brown are gone, so there's nothing here to talk about except football. And, I could be wrong, but that just means there's peaceful things going on in that locker room. And, Dallas is going to have to deal with that. And if they get Zeke in, but then you're going to have to go on the Dak, you're going to have to go on the Amari Cooper. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. And I think those are things that do wear on teams. I think they even wear on the players as the seasons progress. So, if they can tie everything up, I doubt they get all three of these guys in, contractually. But love the pick. And when you said the commissioner would love the matchup in the Super Bowl, again, I never went there. I just kept thinking, Patriots, and I was going Patriots, Eagles, the rematch. Would that be the game we wanted? But never in my wildest dreams would I thought you'd have chosen the Steelers and the Cowboys.
Oh, it's really a reach in my estimation. My Final Four, a little bit more a conservative grouping here. I've got New Orleans and Chicago in the NFC. I've got New England and Kansas City in the AFC. I got New Orleans and New England in the Super Bowl, and I've got New Orleans winning the Super Bowl. How would your Final Four be?
My Final Four would be, you're talking between the AFC and the NFC, right? Final Four?
Yeah, the two teams in the NFC and the AFC.
Yeah. I have the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs as one of those teams, and then I also have New England. I went against New England. I came on the show plenty of times and said, after their Super Bowl loss a couple years ago, that was the end of the dynasty. But until they actually decide to hang it up, I got to put them in the AFC. They're just kind of, they're locked, grandfathered in, if you will. I have the Chiefs and the Patriots, and then on the NFC side, now I don't have the Seattle Seahawks winning the West. I have the Rams winning the West, but I have the Seahawks making it to the Final Four, if that makes any sense. And I also have them playing the New Orleans Saints, and then I have the Chiefs and the Saints, but I have the Chiefs taking out the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you've got three of the four that I've got. You differentiate between the Bears and Seattle, and I may be looking at these things with my heart rather than my head. No, I do think the Bears, with that defense and Trubisky now third year, I think the Bears have a chance really to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I call it. We've talked a lot, and I have three teams down, and I call it the big boy schedule. Because we get caught in the mindset. These teams. Like I have the Browns, I have the Bears, and I have the Jaguars. When you look at the Bears, they're 5-11. They jump up to 12-4. Now what? And I think now you're going to kind of see what are the Chicago Bears. We saw them flounder.
Exactly.
They were able to kind of accumulate these picks. And the same with the Browns. 0-16, 7-8-1. Who are they? We look at the Jaguars. And now the Jaguars, we actually have an extra year. And this doesn't mean this is the way it's going to be for the Bears and the Browns. But, the Jaguars are 3-13. They come out in 2017. They finished 10-6. Arguably could have beat New England, should have beat New England, and gone on to the Super Bowl. They looked that good that game. And then 2018 comes around, and they just fall off the map. They do. They beat New England again. You're like, wow, this team is for real. There's a new sheriff in town in the AFC, and then they just completely fall apart. So that's why I kind of hesitant to kind of go all in on the Bears, all in on the Browns. Now I'm a little bit back on the Jags bandwagon. I have them winning the South. I think they're going to be better at the quarterback position. Blake Bortles is just so bad. Nick Foles cannot be that bad. So I think there's a little bit of excitement surrounding the team, a quiet confidence. Not a lot to be expected. But again, there's something I always like to look at, because these teams with these lousy records, they get a softer schedule. They kind of sneak out of nowhere the next coming season, and then they kind of come back to earth the following year. So I put the Jags, the Browns, and the Bears in that category for teams to look at under that umbrella.
And the Bears need a little more on offense. They need something to go with Tariq Cohen, and it's why we didn't do this, but my offensive rookie of the year will be Bears running back rookie David Montgomery from Iowa State.
Wow.
They need some thunder and lightning.
Well, Montgomery looked fantastic.
If that is the case, with the Bears, all the receivers they got now, if Trubisky is the real deal and that line gives them any time, the Bears should absolutely be in the hunt. That defense is outstanding. Now, they did lose, as a texter points out. They lost their defensive coordinator from a year ago. Vic Fangio is now in Denver. And that does worry me a little bit.
Dave, that would be my big concern. When I talk Steelers football, I'm not concerned about Brown being gone, I'm not saying but Mike Munchak, the way he had that offensive line performing, that would be my biggest concern, because that line is arguably one of the best in the National Football League. So, Coach Sarrett took over. How much of that can he keep in terms of thing? And when you look at Vic Fangio, that was an instrumental piece to getting that. How much did those coaches that were previously there, how much are they going to be able to retain? How much of these coaches going to be able to kind of get out, what he was able to get out of that defense? But hey, they went out last season. They got Khalil Mack. They have a franchise QB, and they have the pieces. And playoff football changes a little bit. You do want that run game. They got Mike Davis. They got David Montgomery. They got the little slasher and Tariq Cohen. And then, you bring it all back with that super dominant defense. So they're going to have a shot when this is all said and done. The talent is there. I'm not writing off the Bears, but I am curious to see, now that they're considered one of the better teams, and we're talking about them going to the NFC Championship, arguably being in the Super Bowl. That's a different mindset. Internally, every locker room, internally, every team in the National Football League, all 32 believe that they have what it takes to hoist that trophy. But we know that's not the reality outside that locker room. But just to have the Bears in that conversation, you just know it's a different mindset in 2019.
So Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to get his deal done. I don't know if he's in the starting lineup on Sunday, but I think we'll see him. I think he'll be carries. So last year, let's go back a year. Did Le'Veon Bell win?
I don't believe he won. He didn't recoup the money he lost. He didn't make the money up. Maybe does he feel a little fresher? I don't know. Even when I look at Melvin Gordon, and the biggest thing for Le'Veon, and this is when I look at Melvin Gordon, I get disappointed as a fan. Le'Veon Bell was on a team that there were Super Bowl aspirations, legit Super Bowl aspirations. You were one of the top teams in the conferences, and you're still like, yeah, you know what? That's not that important. I can hold out. And when I think of Melvin Gordon, he kind of is that same situation. The Chargers look like a fantastic team. They tied the Chiefs last year, 12-4 in the AFC West, but, the Chiefs went out, and the tiebreaker. But, that's how close you are to being one of the top teams. No other team won 12 games in the AFC except the Chargers and the Chiefs. So for him to say, hey, you know what, money is the main cog right now, I just think in my heart of hearts, man, don't you want that run at a Super Bowl? There's not many times, even if you play a long time in this league, that you even on a team that you could say, hey, we really are legit. We can take this thing over the top. And to think that you're going to neglect that and just worry about, hey, I need that paycheck that's coming. It does. It disappoints me. I understand where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, at least, and then when I look at the Jets, I'm looking at that's how I would look at it if I was the GM of the Jets or any team that's going to inquire about these guys is, how dedicated are you? You were pretty close to possibly having it all, and you decided, to sit out. And, that's what I get disheartened with it. But at the end of the day, I know it's a business. They want to make money. The teams want to make money. And, it's about self-preservation.
Well, if everything's not guaranteed and you can get cut after you've used your bonus up, then
every man for himself.
Then I get it. But here's the thing. I think you bring up a good point. We'll never know about Le'Veon Bell because, maybe Le'Veon Bell's sitting out this year adds 2 or 3 years down the road and he gets another good contract out of it. Then you could say that he won because he didn't recoup this year, but he basically does get total health when he's playing now. The one that we do know won, well, we'll know when we see the terms of the contract, but is Ezekiel Elliott because
he had 2 years.
All he did was miss preseason football games.
In Cabo.
And he was in Cabo. Yeah.
He's a genius.
And he may end up the number 1 paid running back. We'll see what the deal is, but he could end up being the number 1 paid running back in the NFL.
And it would be horrible. It would be nightmarish. And it all could end Sunday night or Sunday afternoon with 1 hit. But he got his money.
He got his money.
Yeah, that's the biggest fear. I mean, and I do not hope that happens. That's the worst thing, especially when you want to see the great guys be great, and he's definitely one of the funner ones. I mean, to me, Ezekiel Elliott reminds me of the throwbacks of the William Andrews and the Otis Andersons and the George Rogers and the Campbells, all those big bulky backs. I mean, he's a pure power runner, and he has all these other intangibles that make him arguably what's going to be the highest paid running back
George
at the
Rogers
position.
Comparison. I love that. And Bo, if he goes down, I don't have a prayer of the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, and Jason Garrett probably won't be back in 2020. All right, give us your AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, the 2 winners, the Super Bowl, and the winner.
Well, again, I have the Chiefs. I have on the AFC side. I have the Chiefs and the Patriots. I have the Chiefs winning, and then on the NFC side, I have the Rams and the Seahawks. But again, I don't have the Rams or I don't have the Seahawks winning the NFC West, but I have them as a wild card. But I just like that team. But I don't think they're better than the Rams. But I think they could be I think the Seahawks are going to be a team playoff time if that you don't want to face that.
So you're right there. You're close to it. You don't think my Steeler pick is very good?
No, I have them winning the AFC North. I don't think it's a bad pick. I just, I can't write New England off. I already wrote them off once, and they made me eat,
Well, they do.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I have them win the AFC North too, but I don't know how you could put them ahead of Kansas City or New England at this point.
Yeah, I don't. And remember, I mean, if D Ford doesn't get the penalty,
KC wins.
The Patriots aren't going, and the Chiefs are actually in the Super Bowl, and who knows how that turns out. And I guess we could flip it on the other side. If they don't make that call against the Saints, then we actually have the Chiefs and the Saints.
And you can go back a week before that. Alshon Jeffrey doesn't let the ball get through him.
Right.
Maybe Nick Foles and the Eagles are on a run.
It might be Nick Foles and the Eagles. So, I'm sure there's fans driving or listening right now that are screaming about there's probably $1,000 calls that they could bring up. Their team could be in this position too. But the way, the Chiefs, I don't think I think they did a little bit in the off season to get a little bit better defensively. And again, they were that close last year against New England. A penalty basically, took them out of that trip, to Super Bowl 53. So I think they can get there. And then on the NFC side, I like the NFC more. I don't know. I always just think it's a little bit more competitive on the NFC side, probably because the Patriots have been so dominant. But, when I think of the Eagles and what they have, the Bears, what they have, and then, we're not even talking about the Vikings or the Packers. You still got the Rams and the Seahawks and the Saints, and you can't, even the Falcons and the Panthers. There's, basically about maybe, I'd say Washington, New York, Detroit, Tampa, Arizona, and San Francisco, I'd say have no shot at the playoffs.
What about Green Bay?
And all those other teams. Oh, yeah, I think Green Bay has a terrific shot. I think what they did in the offseason in terms of bringing in, they brought in Preston Smith, Darius Smith, Amos, the safety. The first round, they take Gary and Savage to add more pieces to the defense. It was a changing in the guard with Ted Thompson out there. They're spending money. And, Aaron Rodgers was not himself. That first game last year, when we all thought he was done for the season, he comes back, and he, wins the game against Chicago. He was not himself all year, but he's feeling healthy. And I think when you have a guy of his caliber, healthy, eager to kind of, get this thing going, a new coach, a fresh idea, I think they're as dangerous as any team. And again, the Bears, they did it 1 year, 12-4. The Lions, you kind of really just assume, until they really can prove it, they're the Lions.
Got to see.
And then you got Minnesota right in there. Minnesota had their shots. I mean,
I think Minnesota's a good team.
Yeah, they got Cousins. They have a fantastic defense. If Cook can stay healthy,
Delvin Cook
they're gonna have a good
finally
run
time.
game. Yeah. So I love the North. I'm more excited about the NFC North than probably any division in the league, just because I think the Bears, the Vikings, and the Packers, they all have a little bit of what the others don't in terms of just facing each other. But I think that's going to make a fun time just to see who can kind of come out of the North, and kind of win the North, and it, we see it. It's not an unheard of thing. I mean, can they get 3 teams out of a division champion and 2 wild cards out of that thing? Because I think the East. I don't really think the East is that strong. I don't really think the Cowboys are a juggernaut. I don't think the Eagles are either. I don't think much of Washington and New York. I'm always excited about the Giants, but they just never seem to live up to what I think they can do. So again, I kind of discount them.
How long's Eli the starting quarterback there?
He's come in. He's lost weight. He's energized. These guys are competitors. I mean, age robs us. That you can't beat Father Time, but if you still have it and you have the desire, I mean, he's come in and he sees this young kid and he's done nothing to disgruntle Daniel Jones. But I think Eli Manning has a lot of pride. That I believe in what I can do and the organization's behind me, and I think he's going to put in a good year. If the team's really bad and just say he's bad, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the win-losses. I should take this back. I don't think his performances are going to earn him the bench. I just think the overall record of the Giants may push him.
I think both Norths are interesting because I think both divisions could say 3 teams could be in the playoff picture. I think Pittsburgh's going to win.
Ruling out Cincy and Detroit.
Because Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, I think that's always going to be interesting, and I like their coaching staff. And we now know how good Cleveland could possibly be. They're getting better every year. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think if you look at their personnel,
a lot of pressure on Cleveland on opening afternoon against Detroit.
But that's interesting. Now in the South, I think that is a very interesting division too. I think Houston is the favorite. I know you're high on Jacksonville, and I am too a little bit because I think Nick Foles is a good player. I think Leonard Fournette could be a great player if he could ever stay healthy, and you're talking about a terrific defense. Houston just did a world of good for themselves getting Laramie Tunsil. He's going to protect Deshaun Watson. And who knows where Tennessee is if Marcus Mariota could play a whole season.
And Bo, the fun of the NFL picks, Drew and I were talking about this before the show today. The fun of the NFL picks, it's the anti-NBA picks. You could pick somebody kind of crazy to be around at or near the end. Maybe not.
You mean like Pittsburgh and Dallas?
Well, I don't know. Pittsburgh and Dallas is that crazy. I mean, that's 2 of the most named brands in the history of sport. But you could pick Minnesota to be in an NFC championship game, and that wouldn't be shocking.
I feel good and feel confident. I mean, I don't think there's, again, I think there's a few teams where you would say their names and I would I can't believe it. You're right.
You're never picking the Charlotte Hornets to be in the playoffs.
Never, yeah. But they're going to the final. Yeah, you're never going to do that. I think years and years ago when the Nuggets upset the Supersonics in the NBA and George Carlson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that was the first round, and they went on to lose the next series. But I mean that was a monumental task. You dethroned the Supersonics and this young Nuggets team. But this just doesn't happen for a 16-game schedule in the National Football League. You're not going to kind of sneak up on somebody, and when the playoffs start, that's when really things get tight, and we see. The better teams really prevail time and time again.
Brand's playing the Titans on Sunday. The Steelers, they're in New England, so you won't be at Heinz Field this Sunday. What do you think's the best game of the schedule this opening weekend? Thursday's real good, but kind of more towards Sunday.
And by the way, they just unveiled the Bears are going to have statues of George Halas and Walter Payton in front of Soldier Field.
What took so long?
I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to actually just go with the opener. I think there's a reason. I mean, we all know why they're doing this because the history between the Bears and the Packers and the history and the lineage that they have to the league. It's the opener, and these teams are, the Packers finished, with a losing record last year, but there's a lot of excitement, and it's Chicago. There's a ton of, excitement of, is this the Bears' year? So I would actually go with the opener with the Bears and the Packers. I
Chiefs
just think
Jaguars,
the history of the game.
My feature game Sunday. I think.
Which one?
Kansas City at Jacksonville.
Oh. Ooh,
That's a great game. It really is.
it's a great game.
Your darlings against the darlings, because I think the Chiefs are the most exciting team to watch.
Yeah, they are. They're fun. I mean, Mahomes is, 23, 24 years old. He already has an MVP under his belt.
Yep.
And if his encore season can be a trip to the Super Bowl and you end it there, we're going to have a long time
He just
to
throws
talk
35
about his
touchdown
ring.
passes instead of 50.
Yeah, and it's still phenomenal. I mean, the Chiefs are going to be there. Andy Reid's a fantastic coach. It's hard to when I guess I'm speechless. I mean, the Chiefs. I love the addition of McCoy. I love the addition of Carlos Hyde. I mean, McCoy. They cut McCoy because of the contract. The Bills weren't going to pay him, so it wasn't so much that he was the diminished prospect that they couldn't get much out of. They just it was more about dollars and cents. So I think he's rejuvenated to be back with Andy Reid because he knows this team is just poised for a Super Bowl run. And when you think about all the weapons and all the open running room that LaShawn McCoy is going to have, the kind of shred defenses, it just adds another layer to what they're going to be able to do. And they didn't have Kareem Hunt last year. They basically didn't miss a beat. But at the end of the day, you always want that back that you can rely on, in crunch time to kind of eat up some of that clock so Mahomes doesn't have to force the ball downfield all the time. So they're going to be fun to watch. And I mean, it should be a good opener, against the Jags. The bad thing about Week 1 is these guys really don't get a lot of action. So we are going to see a lot of bad football, I think, on Sunday, and Thursday, Sunday, Monday, just because
first game.
This is a performance, and basically not a lot of these guys are performing. I mean, look at Zeke Elliott. I mean, he's been in Cabo, and he's possibly going to be suiting up, Sunday night. So it gives you a lot to think about in terms. How much these guys are really ready to go. I mean, it takes a game or two, to really to really see the best of what we have to yet to see as this 2019 is about to unfold for us.
He is Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. We will talk games when we speak next week. Thank you, buddy.
Have a great week.
You got it.
That we will do. This portion of the show brought to you by Soulfish. What a success story Soulfish is. The new store in Wolf Chase, Highway 64, is knocking them dead. Grand slam home run every time. It's unbelievable how much people love this. This is the #1 catfish restaurant in Memphis. You voted it every year. You voted it in 3 categories last year. Best catfish, best seafood, best soul food. Because the veggies are so good. Everything's made from scratch. And now 4 locations in Memphis. There's one in Little Rock. There's one in Oxford. It all began in Midtown at Cooper. It's still there. And that place has been expanded. Then they went to the shops of Forest Hill Irene in Germantown on the Collierville border. They opened up by me. That's Poplar, just east of Perkins in the old Wolf Camera location. And now they got one in Highway 64. And people are coming from Raleigh and Bartlett and Eads. They're coming from all over. And you can't blame them. It is the best catfish. And they've got beer and they've got wine and they've got everything. You want a great fish. Could be like rainbow trout like my wife gets all the time. They have so many choices. It's always good, too. Consistency is why people love it all the time. Soulfish Cafe. Back in a minute, we'll be joined by Steve Earhart from the Autos and Liberty Bowl. His take, he was at the Memphis game. I don't know where he's going this week, but they're keeping their eye on Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Arkansas this year, so he could be at Ole Miss, Arkansas, because it looks more and more like the winner is still in the hunt. A loser in week 2 may be done. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. We have exciting news. All premium members of ATC Fitness now have access to our newly added hydro massage lounges. That's right, for only $25 a month, you'll have access to all 18 state-of-the-art facilities, access to tanning, and now access to the best massage unit on the market. Come in today and relax with a free demo. You deserve it. Don't forget, you can also sign up online. ATCFitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl set to join us here in just 1 second. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Memphis Public Links. That's the city golf courses. Better play every day, and I like to add for everyone. And they're so big on junior golf. Still going on, and, this will come to an end as the summer comes to an end, but all junior golfers 17 and under, free greens fees. Free. You got to pay for a cart, but if you want to walk, it's free. And that's all courses except for Galloway, Monday through Friday, and after 12 on weekends and holidays. Now, even at Galloway, they've got family golf. That's Saturdays after 12 o'clock. Adults, only $25 for 18 holes with a cart. The juniors, again, under 17 and under, are free. Women's golf links it over to every Wednesday, 3:30. They got a deal for you. And there's clinics. Again, they want to make sure you understand the game. How many, I wish I would have had this chance when I was a kid. How many of you would have? Where you get free golf lessons Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the links at Whitehaven, 4:30 to 6:30. Every Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30 at Pine Hill. Wow, would I have ever taken advantage of that? You can. That's what they do with Memphis Public Links. Better play every day for everyone. Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl joins us now. Mr. E was at the Liberty Bowl for the game with Memphis and Ole Miss. Your thoughts on both teams?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys. How are you doing? Glad to be here with you. And, boy, what a wonderful day for our community, for Memphis, for all the young people playing in the game. And even though there was some disappointment on the Ole Miss side, I think they're going to be better, and I'm going to try and go down to their game this week. I can catch the doubleheader, catch Memphis playing at 11 o'clock, and then Arkansas playing at Ole Miss at 6:30 that evening.
All right.
So,
doubleheader
it'll
Saturday.
be all right. Yeah, doubleheader Saturday.
Steve,
but,
I'm too old for that. You can still do it.
well, it's important. We get two SEC teams that I think and you tell me, Brett, you're the Arkansas man there. If Arkansas can win it, they're 2-0 and sitting there ready to claim that they can get 6 wins and get to the AutoZone Liberty.
If the Razorbacks win Saturday, they equal last year's win total.
That's right, but no, a great shout out to the University of Memphis and Coach Norvell.
Great win for
and it was really a terrific time. What I saw in the pregame, we were walking through the various parking lots and everything, and it was maybe the best not only Tiger Lane, but the areas there up in the old Libertyland parking area there were just full of University of Memphis young people, dressed out in their blue, and it didn't maybe have the shade trees that they have down at Ole Miss, but they certainly had enough folks there having a great time. And in years past, I think probably the last time when Ole Miss was here, it was probably half and half. It was Ole Miss and Memphis people. This time, I think probably 75-80% were Memphis blue, and they were having a big time in advance of the game, and hopefully they can repeat that again over the next several games.
Steve, this college football environment we're in, look, we know what faces Ole Miss or Arkansas to whomever loses Saturday. Look, it's a lot of football left to play, but it could be a real grind for Tennessee. They played themselves into that position. You in the bowl business, you see the kind of the fits and starts every week, the highs and lows, what all these coaches and administrators go through.
Well, and you're right, and it's still a game, and it was great. To answer this question, I want to say that it was great to see down on the field before the game a lot of, Memphis alumni coming back, and that's been the secret of a lot of great programs. They have a real good connection with their players from past years, and to see Pollard down there on the sidelines, I was quite surprised that the Cowboys would let him go away on the weekend but he was down there, and boy, did he look good. And I still remember him when he was a Melrose kid playing in our AutoZone Liberty Bowl high school all-star game, and boy, he had some quicks, and that memories we talked about Anthony Miller, how a few years before he was an undersized guy that had been, and Pollard is a big guy now. He must be working out in that Dallas Cowboys specialty down there, because he's a big, strong, good-looking kid. So I'm looking forward to his performance there this week. But then my point there is it's still a lot of young people playing in the game, and with coaches being new and the system, and you got to have. I just marvel at the game of football when you've got to have so many people all operating together, doing their exact job at the exact time, and you take a safety takes one step the wrong direction, and boom, he's in trouble behind the play. And so getting everybody in a well-oiled machine, and that's where Memphis had an advantage over Ole Miss there. And was that because of the new coordinators? But Memphis had new coordinators too. But was it a veteran quarterback versus a brand new quarterback? But it was wonderful to see that kind of performance. But you hit it right on the head that from week to week, and there'll be some more surprises this coming week. Will Tennessee bounce back and play really well? Who will win that Ole Miss Arkansas game? And then I watched especially Missouri's game there because, of course, they played in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl last year, and they went out to Wyoming. And, Dave, I know you've spent some time out there in the West, too, but you go out to Wyoming, and those are tough kids out there in the plains of Wyoming where the wind blows all the time, and they ran into a buzzsaw and lost a game. They were heavily favored in that game as well. So it can change in a hurry. Boise State, Florida State, a lot of 18 to 22-year-olds playing. You never know what happens one week to the next.
The Missouri thing, there's all altitude as well in Laramie, Wyoming, and that might have been a factor in all this. But both Tennessee and Missouri losses are really strange. Who knows if Missouri will be bowl eligible anyway, which is why I know Memphis has been talked about for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That's still a possibility that is out there. Of course, the Cotton Bowl at this moment is still a possibility for the University of Memphis. I worry about Tennessee because I really thought they would win enough games to go to a bowl, but they just lost a game that I had them win, and I believe I only had them with 6 wins. So now the BYU game becomes a critical game. BYU is better than Georgia State. So
you're right about that.
I'm a little surprised that Tennessee is favored in the game, to be honest with you, but they are. But now that becomes absolutely critical for the Vols.
You're right, and I know their coach made a great statement there, and I'm sure Coach Philip Fulmer is in there behind him as the athletic director, saying there's never more improvement over the course of a season from week 1 to week 2, and I think certainly that had to have happened there at Tennessee. Those kids took it lightly, big favorite, playing at home, first game, and they didn't bear down, and it was obvious watching that ball game that they were not as convicted about laying it all on the line like those Georgia State kids were. So, but I think that Tennessee, I'll make a prediction now that I think they'll come back, and I was glad to see Eric Gray from Lausanne School playing so well in that game, and I think they'll come back and play well and get a win against BYU. But you're right, if they don't get a win, woo, that's going to be serious trouble over on the hill in Knoxville.
On the Big 12 side of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, we're looking out there. What a great game LSU and Texas is going to be. But it was a perfect weekend, even though, as you pointed out, there were 7 FCS games in there. But they were 10-0 as a league last week.
That's right, and of course they only play 3 non-conference games. The SEC plays 4 non-conference games, so they do usually that first weekend. A few years ago when the Houston game was set up, Houston had been the representative of the group of 6, playing in the Big Bowl, and so they thought that was going to be a tougher matchup than it was. But they hit it right on the head, 10-0. But then they've got LSU at Texas this week, and then of course Missouri's playing a home game against West Virginia, another Big 12 team. So I don't know whether they can be, they for sure won't be 10-0 because both TCU and Iowa State are off this week. So, but yeah, I think it was a good week for the Big 12, but you hit it right on the head because they only play those 3 non-conference. That first weekend is usually kind of a warm-up week, but I guess that's what Tennessee said.
Do you think, I know they play that extra conference game, and there's not been anybody who's played 9 conference games that's ended up in the college football playoff championship game. But when you're playing 7 FCS games, now it's really like you've only got 2 non-conference games on your resume that can really help you.
That's right, and I think they figure that extra, that 9th conference game is a much tougher game than what, say, an SEC team would be playing in that. Now, certainly Alabama always schedules a tough non-conference, but some of those Big 12 teams are playing pretty vaunted schedules. With Texas playing, LSU, that's a high-risk game for them. If LSU beats them, does that knock them out of contention? So you're right, and I know those 2 conferences are at each other's throats there in arm wrestling because the Big 12 says you ought to be playing 9 games if you're a real men, and then of course the SEC says we got better, stronger teams, so we're only going to play 8, but that's an arm wrestling contest that's going on right now,
Steve,
which is required.
When do you think the next round of realignment will happen?
I don't think it will happen, if at all, before the end of this next 6-year cycle. So this is the 6th year of the first 6-year cycle. When I say the cycle, this is of what they call the CFP, the College Football Playoff System. And these conferences kind of geared up to try and get in there, but there's a lot of moaning about that, and that if somehow the CFP, after, say, 3-4 years of this next 6-year cycle, which starts in 2020, they start saying, well, the drumbeat for expanding the playoffs, could that change? But just like the American Athletic Conference with losing Connecticut, because Connecticut decided to put all their marbles back into basketball and basically give up on, that's my opinion, I'm sure they won't tell you that, but my opinion on giving up trying to really be competitive in football, that they're not going to add a 12th team. And so will they end up being forced to have to play 9 conference games, or will they still play 8 with a 6 and a 5 conference alignment, or will they just throw all 11 into one schedule and do what the Big 12 is doing with 10 teams? So
well, I can tell you, Mike would like to try the model of what the Big 10 has done in the past, where they would play no divisions, and they would have at least 2 rivalry games that you would definitely play every year. So that's 3. So now you got 8 teams that you're going to rotate around, that you would play, 4 one year and 4 the next.
Yeah, and that's what could work out. But I think to answer Stat's question, that's why I don't think there's a lot of pressure to add teams. For example, if the AAC would have come out and said, oh, okay, we're going to add a 12th team to replace Connecticut, that might have spurred something. But the AAC has been very clear, and I know you spent some time with Commissioner Esco. I spent quite a bit of time watching the game with him as well. And they're adamant. They're going to stick with 11, and so I don't see them starting anything. And the Big 12 already played their hand and decided to stick with 10 teams, so I don't see any of the other conferences making any moves. So I don't think I see anything in the near future, Brett.
It would seem to me that I get you, and I don't dispute the fact that I don't think anything's going to happen for till this next TV contract is done, because everybody's doing quite well financially if you're in the Power Five. But it would seem to me that if you are a Power Five, if you're a grouping, that there would be some uniformity in the amount of conference games that you would play. And I would like for the American Athletic Conference to have the same number that is deemed the right number for the Power Five. Do you think we'll see a change in legislation that way, where either everybody plays 8 or everybody plays 9? Personally, I'd like to see 9.
I want to see 9
because it helps your own league, and they're better games.
I don't think your questions superimposed the word legislation. I don't think there's any legislative body. Certainly the NCAA isn't going to tell these conferences. The conferences are calling their own shots. They're doing their own TV negotiations, and nobody's going to tell the SEC how many to play or not play. And same is true with the others. So now if they all got together and agreed somehow, but I don't see them all deciding, okay, we all are going to require each other, because then
Nick
the argument
Saban's
is,
for
well,
9.
Pardon me?
Nick Saban's for 9.
I'm sorry.
He's saying Nick Saban's
is for 9 games.
Oh, yeah, he
That's
said
a big
that.
voice,
but,
Steve.
but I know, but there's a lot of other guys in there that are getting the tails kicked by Alabama that don't agree with Alabama. I mean, Vanderbilt wants to play four games, get some wins. I mean, those guys down there that aren't Alabama, they got to win some games to keep their fans. So you talk to athletic directors and coaches at other schools, and they're not so ready to say, let's go beat up one more game on each other.
There is one common denominator in that group of 5, that Power 5, and that's the CFP. Would the CFP have any clout to say, look, let's try to make this even? Because here we go. You got only 2 conferences that play 8, 3 play 9, and it seems to be an advantage to play only 8.
Okay, well, the CFP, technically it's the 10 conferences plus Notre Dame, but the Power 5, they got more votes. I mean, their votes count more. So if you can tell me that those 5 conferences will get together and agree to do it, then yes, you would maybe have that. But I think that's going to be a tough wish for those 5 conferences to all get together. And then, they all have their own ways of doing things. I mean, the SEC doesn't play many northern games there after October 1st, and the Big Ten always says, well, they need to place more road games, and everybody's got their own agendas with those conferences. But everything is possible, and you're right. There's no question that the Big Ten is mad at heck right now at the SEC, because the SEC has been dominating the selections for the CFP, no question about it.
See you in Oxford Saturday, Steve. I look forward to it. Dave will see you Saturday morning. I'll see you Saturday night.
Yeah, well, that's right. I get a test of both of you, and we're getting ready to go with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It's going by fast in a hurry already. 1 week down, and we're getting ready for December 31st. Got that great afternoon kickoff time, 2:45. So we appreciate everybody's support of the mission of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That is Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tankless water heater. Are you running out of hot water every morning because now the kids are in school? Maybe they run out. Maybe it's even worse. Maybe by the time you get in, because you let them go first, you're out of water.
Frozen tundra.
Time for a tankless, because you never run out of hot water. And it's the perfect time, because John says, give me the old Energy Guzzler tanked water heater. I'll give you a new tankless, 24 months to pay interest-free, or I'll just give you $250 for the old tanked water heater. Either way, you win. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, so you're saving money on your gas bill every month. And, of course, you never have to worry about a tank bursting, because there is no tank, and they look really cool, too. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511, 384-3511. That's Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the tankless water heater. Back in a minute, we put a wrap on this thing, including Crunch Time. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It'll really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
The Memphis Tigers football team hosts Southern Saturday, September 7th at 11 a.m. This will be the annual Kroger game, where fans can purchase $10 game tickets at all area Kroger stores. A portion of the proceeds go to the Mid-South Food Bank in support of stamping out hunger in the region. Head coach Mike Norvell and the Memphis football team boast one of the nation's most explosive offenses, so you don't want to miss a single play. Memphis versus Southern, Saturday, September 7th at 11 a.m. Get your $10 tickets at area Kroger stores today. Stripe up.
You love your pets, but you can't take them with you when you travel. So what do you do with Fido and Fluffy? Take them to Pet Suites. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville is now accepting reservations at their gorgeous new facility that accommodates dogs and cats of all ages. Complete with bone-shaped in-ground pools, indoor and outdoor play yards, expert care, and friendly staff. Book now and new customers get 25% off their first service. Pet Suites Memphis, Germantown, Collierville. 4520 South Forest Hill Irene Road. Pet Suites, your pet's new favorite place.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brett Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get insane.
Welcome back in. Wolo and Stats brought to you in part of this hour by Homer Skelton Hyundai, home of the #1 certified pre-owned car dealer. 11 years in a row. Now, that is some kind of consistency. Kind of like their product. Isn't that consistent? It is the best marriage of technology and safety features and computers and, of course, service. And this is what I love about them. Assurance. 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. That's on every new car in the place, like my Santa Fe or the new Palisade or the Kona or the Tucson and all, of course, the Genesis cars. The G's are coming. They're going to have even more. And by the way, not every Hyundai dealership gets to sell Genesis cars. That luxury, just magnificent piece of technology. But they do at Homer. In fact, they're going to make them even bigger. They're going to enlarge the dealership. They're going to have separate entrances. You're going to love what you see at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it is time for Crunch Time.
This is Geraldo. It is Crunch Time.
You are looking live. It's Crunch Time.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
Crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He threw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
This is
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, I learned today the appearance and twang and diction and grammar of Jeremy Pruitt, that it wouldn't be that big a factor if they had been winning. But when you have that, and you have that loss, everything's up for grabs. Everything's up for examination, and that will wear thin on people. It's the biggest game of his head coaching tenure this week. Tomorrow, we will visit with Vince Farrar from WNML in Knoxville about that. You know they're on fire over it. But look, we've had coaches with Southern twangy accents before. Danny Ford at Clemson, Charlie McClendon at LSU, but they won. They weren't English teachers. They never resemble one. But if you win, you can get a little cover. If you don't, everything's up for inspection. What'd you learn?
I learned the new AP poll has come out, and the Big Ten's got 7 teams in. The SEC's got 6. The Pac-12 has 5. That's hard for me to swallow. Big 12's got 3. ACC's got 2. AAC and Mountain West has 1. Oh, and the breaking news at the moment is Ezekiel Elliott is going to sign in time to play on Sunday.
Do you think in Dallas they're like giving they're going wall to wall like weather here with helicopters following his?
They've got the tail number. They're following it with GPS.
It's that important to them. I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying looking at them, jokingly. It's that important to them. I could have done without the news from South Carolina. Jake Bentley mostly will be out for the rest of the season. Bad luck seems to find Will Muschamp. And it was going to be hard for Will Muschamp to replace Steve Spurrier, but Muschamp couldn't win at Florida. South Carolina's hard for anyone, and coming in behind Steve Spurrier, and now your quarterback that has been pretty good for you is out. This could end ugly for Will Muschamp this year. What is it you could have done?
I could have done without the Willie Taggart story. I like Willie Taggart. I really do. I really would like for him to do a good job. But when you practice in the South and you're in the Power League and your excuse at home is that your team got dehydrated, didn't hydrate correctly during the week, and the team from Boise knew what to do? What kind of excuse is that?
What do you think the hottest practice in August Camp Boise went through? Just the legitimate temperature high. No humidity.
No, zero humidity. What, 78? Maybe?
Let's go crazy and say 85.
Okay, go crazy without humidity.
I bet FSU never practiced in anything less than 85.
Right, with 80% humidity.
With all the juice you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that is just absurd for him to make that.
It's
remark.
A bad look. Tonight, I'm keeping a close eye on. Look, if you want pitching, watch the Mets and the Nats tonight. Jacob deGrom against Max Scherzer. Both teams need it. The Mets need it a little more. The Mets have to get hot again. Cleveland at home in an AL wild card game that matters for them. Are the Red Sox out of it? Do y'all think the Red Sox
No, they're not.
Out?
They're actually not. I looked at the wild card races today.
All right, they better start their push tonight.
That's got to be.
Zach Greinke goes for the Astros tonight. Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals at home against the Giants at Busch Stadium. King Felix, once King Felix, wasn't he? He was once King Felix on the mound at Wrigley against John Lester. And also tonight, Mike Fiers, for the A's. He goes for his second no-hitter of the year against the Angels, and I'm calling it. No-hitter tonight, Mike Fiers. I'm good at this, aren't I, Drew?
Did you?
I mean, you're decent.
You
but I wouldn't go
actually
that
had
far.
the audacity.
I did.
After you've never mentioned that you called Verlanders.
I had Verlander. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, right. When? How did I miss that?
Dave, it was something only you and I knew.
Were you not in that group text?
How did I miss
got
that?
it. He sent it to me.
Dave, you weren't listening.
You are so in cahoots. It's just, it's nauseating.
What do you keep an eye on tonight?
I'm keeping an eye out for the Memphis basketball schedule
You think tonight?
No.
Tomorrow?
But I'm keeping maybe tomorrow.
This week?
It's got to come this week.
This week, yeah.
This is as late. I mean, it usually comes out like
I'm
right around
expecting
this
a
week.
full SEC release, and I'm ready to see all these times and dates.
I'm ready to see some Wimbledon, too. Feds and Serena tonight. Roger Federer, with the way things are going, now Rafael Nadal,
22.
that could be really, really tough. Obviously, Cubs in Seattle, huge game tonight. And you got Flaherty on the mound tonight. I don't know what the heck can happen there. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, we got to thank Gabe Kuhn. His insight was terrific on Memphis and Ole Miss. Brett Beard, hope he can ride the storm out. Thank you, Oreo Speedwagon. Jeff Moore made all of his NFL picks. We made ours. My man, Norsworthy, went nuts. Dallas and Pittsburgh. There wasn't anybody else that had those two teams in the Final Four. We have Bo Marchant. We got to thank him. Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Tomorrow will be, as always, a lot of fun. TJ Reeves, Vince Ferreira. We already mentioned he'll be on. Trey Schapp and Chris Raby. And Chris can gloat because his Cardinals have been absolutely terrific. Keep an eye, by the way, on the storm, because I guess anybody that you know in Florida, including our old Brent Beard, in your thoughts and your prayers. I think it's heading out to the east. It's already been downgraded a little bit. I think everything is going to be okay with that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great night, everybody. Same time, same place tomorrow.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Joe welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free daily transportation, utility bills, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. The living is easy. Town Village Audubon Park.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. Soon you'll have a separate fridge in the basement where extra groceries are exiled forever. Remember that frozen lasagna? Of course you don't. It's been down there since 2008. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. Piece of cake. Behind the lasagna, it's very old. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Fox Sports Trending now.
The Cowboys could be on the verge of coming to terms with Ezekiel Elliott as the running back reportedly back in the Metroplex to finalize a deal with Dallas. Pro Football Talk suggesting the extension could be for 6 years and $90 million. The team also signed tackle Lyle Collins to a 5-year extension worth $50 million. 35 of that is guaranteed. There's already a final in Major League Baseball as Baltimore doubled up Tampa Bay 4-2. The Rays now tied with Cleveland, essentially for both the wild card spots in the American League. They sit a game ahead of Oakland. On the Diamonds right now, Texas and the Yankees scoreless in the first. The Rays and Orioles playing their second of the doubleheader, scoreless in the third. Aristides Aquino with an RBI single for Cincinnati in the first.